All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer for the podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello.
It's not static, AM radio.
It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromella intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. The cracker 6 o'clock, I'm logging with some sirloin bites.
Good morning, welcome back to the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne, YouTube Trev with you, 603, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming live, as well as the iHeart TuneIn radio apps, and on YouTube, presented, as always, by South Fort Chevrolet. Closer than you think since 1983, a short drive to Fort Saskatchewan, worth it to find the best deal at the best price. Your go-to dealership for Silverado 1500s and heavy duties. 0% financing available on select models. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. We're coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Get the boneless wings today, ghost pepper and all of that. And we welcome in again Dustin Nielson, CFL on TSN tonight, week 4 kicking off. Your Edmonton Elks in Vancouver to take on the Lions. Elks looking for win number 1 of the season, albeit playing some pretty damn good ball throughout. But a win is a win and a loss is a loss, and we'll see if they can get into the win column tonight. We'll have more on that game as the show goes on. Of course, the buyout window. Ooh, the buyout window. What are the Oilers going to do? Jack Campbell, anybody? Have your say in the nasty chat on YouTube. That's clicking around. Or as well, the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers, family-owned and operated, 22 stores, 4 provinces across the nation. You can check them out online, www.parisjewelers.com. Get in the inbox today, 780-218-9999. If you have any players you'd like the Oilers to buy out, again, there's probably one that you're all thinking of, but any other ideas, let us know, 780-218-9999 in the PJ's inbox. And if you do have the best text in that inbox throughout today, you could be walking away with $20 to A&W. That is the prize for the text of the day this morning, 780-218-9999. Jay Milne, welcome back. How you doing, man?
Swell. Very good. Very well. Excited to be here. I see some commentary in the inbox. Looks like Fergie's off to have a nice weekend.
Yeah, he's hitting the road. We have a little issue today as well as Tom Gazzola and Dustin Nielson live at the Argyle BPs yesterday, and I hope you all joined them down there for the oil stream. Maybe shared a brute with old Dusty, but as you can see, a pretty barren desk in terms of electronics. The board's gone, the cords are gone, everything's gone. We will persist. We will move on as YouTube Trev will be earning his keep later this morning and throughout the show. I mean, you've got it all. You've got the conches, the didgeridoos, all of the music. The ticker, the whole bit. You feeling good? All this
my
power.
show. Yep, I can I can play whatever I want, I suppose. I'm looking at all the things. I have to bear with me here because there's a lot of labels
Absolutely.
and whatnot. But we should get it. It should be okay.
We've had shows, Gazzola and I, where we've had no sound. This will be old
have some
hat.
sound.
And again, we'll have patience with you. But anything you want this morning from the sound department, I mean, YTT is your guy. He'll hook you up. Maybe not too many deep cuts, but we'll get you there if you need a conch or things like that.
Well, I'd say right off the top, a conch for Fergie, who's fishing and golfing at Waskesiu, then south to see the fam.
Oh, love it. Light him up. Hello. The Georgia Satellite. This will be Chris Jones' last game with the Elks. Book it. I don't know if you want to give a conch out to that as well.
No,
YTT,
that's bad juju.
keep that in your. Hey, I mean, but look.
Hey, I think he's right.
One season ends here, and we'll get to the Oilers. Lots of stuff still to come. Obviously, the draft going down tomorrow from the Spear. Rashog on the scene there. We do, as I mentioned, the buyout window, free agency looms. And we also had a nice player availability yesterday from which I took a lot of positives from. I know this sucks. 2-1, Game 7 Stanley Cup Final. I think we go through the 7, maybe 14 stages of grief for a lot of you out there. But today is a new day. We are now another day removed from the final. And again, just hearing the words that the players spoke yesterday, specifically one Leon Draisaitl, who, again, for all the right reasons, question marks do arise when you mention his name. I thought it was pretty encouraging, the words from most of them. Especially Leon as well. And I think what this playoff in this cup chase and run did was a great PR campaign and advertisement for the team. A lot of these guys that have been around kind of know the score, but for the Adam Henriques and such as that, I think it showed them and also players around the league who may not be familiar with the market what can be accomplished here and what you could be a part of in making history. So I think yesterday with the players getting in front of the mics with their clean baby faces, I think a lot to take away from that in a positive fashion. Management, of course, will be on the podium today addressing things, so we'll have more on that tomorrow as well. But just quickly, Jay, I guess your thoughts yesterday as we go through this process of garbage bags one day, shaving one day, going home the next. Again, you're sailing into this short off season, but I think a real good vibe coming from this cup run, even though it didn't end the way we all wanted it to.
Well, yeah, I mean, last time I was on the show, we were in the throes of a Stanley Cup final, and obviously that didn't go the way that Oilers fans wanted it to, but you cannot overlook the fact that they were there. They were very, very close to getting it done. I mean, forcing a Game 7 was spectacular. Many would agree that if the Oilers had pulled that out, that would have been the greatest Stanley Cup final of all time.
It was all lining up. You had all that stuff.
The stars seemed to align, but they fell short. But it's been talked about several times on this show, on other shows, that usually you need to crawl, then walk before you can run. This might have been the walking phase where, Florida was here last year too, don't forget.
It's
and they got dummied in the Stanley Cup finals. And here they are again the following year with more resiliency under their belt, with more resolve. And they get the job done in Game 7 after they got tested on that 3-0 streak that brought Edmonton back into the finals. So I don't think it's at all a time to hang your head. And I mean, I get, it's sad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of sad fans out there, and you have to appreciate that. That's just diehard fans. That's loyalty to the team, and that's totally okay. But there is some point where you have to look at the future and look at, the reality of things is that this is a damn good team. Mm-hmm. And this is a team that had a major hiccup in the first third of the season and was able to overcome that and still almost win the Pacific Division. So the future is looking a lot brighter right now than it was at the end of last year. Like we can comfortably say that. And yeah, it wasn't the result you want, but at some point you have to look, and look at the overall picture of things rather than just a snapshot of them hanging their head. And Connor, look at Connor McDavid. And I'm sure it's been talked about, but I'll talk about it because I'm not on here all the time.
Yes, preach.
To see him at the end of the bench, waiting for each of his teammates to come off the ice, and words of encouragement and words of, I guess that is a leader. That is somebody that's going to get it done here. And all the discussion about Leon Draisaitl yesterday, the odds that came out as to where he's going to end up. That's all BS. Leon's not going anywhere. He's staying here.
It's great fodder for out of market people.
I mean,
we'd all chew on it too. That's all.
It is. But the fact of the matter is he's staying here. Yesterday was a real, like I said this on the Hangout, that I find so much comfort and appreciation in Leon Draisaitl recently because of his humbleness and his willingness to be open. He wasn't playing that great in the early stages of the Stanley Cup final. He came out and admitted that. He said, "I'm playing like trash. I got to be better." Thankfully, my teammates have carried me along. Yesterday, he spoke truth again. Look, I've been I've been involved in the Stanley Cup final for the last 2 weeks. I haven't had time to even think about this.
Yeah,
I just about didn't have time to shave my face. Give the guy some time. I'm sure they're going to get that done because he is an important player on this team, no question.
You need both. I'm here. Look, this is the dog days of summer, and if you want to get a little wild and crazy, albeit hypothetically, I'm here for you. I was perusing the internet early this morning, some weird websites. One guy had a McDavid buyout.
Yeah,
But it'll never happen. It is funny to see that, though, in practice and see the numbers and everything that go along with it. So, I mean, hey, if you have some sort of crazy idea that you'd like to dangle Leon for something, we can suss it out and talk about it. But by no means are we here with a direct line to management saying, hey, we found a little deal. No, you said it right there, Jay. And I think, again, just going back to the player avails yesterday, I don't think there should be a seed of doubt in anyone's mind how this is going to transpire. I don't know Leon's family. I'm not inside of his cranium to what, these people are all humans at the end of the day, and they all have their own situations and whatnot to look out for. But again, just taking what we know and taking the words and hearing what he said, as an Oiler fan, I think you'd have to be pretty encouraged given everything that's happened. So, I mean, there's also a theory that if they were to get it over the line this year, maybe then they say, job's done in some sort of form or fashion, right? This is now a continuation. I'm seeing this as like a bit of a halftime, much like the Panthers from last year. And it's a total unfinished business vibe. Why would you want to jump off of that piece of heavy machinery now?
And I don't, I think they're going to re-sign Leon to a longer-term contract. It's not going to be a 1 year or 2 year. I think it's going to be done. And it's going to give this team the chance to grow and get that championship and then go hunting for 2 or 3 more, a la Chicago Blackhawks, Pittsburgh Penguins, who have done it, twice or 3 times in a matter of 3, 4, 5 years kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I at least, would say. For what it's worth. It's not worth a lot. But I will say this.
We can only speak from what we know. And that Nas 26 in the nasty chat, Draisaitl never once yesterday said he was going to re-sign. Okay. But again, you mentioned...
Now, is that resign or...
Resign? Yeah, okay, yeah. Wouldn't that be something, just quits? I think, you know what, I'm not going to re-sign it, and I'm not going to get traded or anything else or sign anywhere else. I'm just going to simply retire. We can just pull from what we know, and these are early days. And again, just getting the whole vibe of guys like Leon, and even a guy like Adam Henrique, who, time's running out in his career. I think this whole bringing the band back together, certainly a lot of people are subscribing to that, and I think the players would too, witnessing what they did during this run. I don't see how you could not look at that and say, yeah, you know what, it was fun, but maybe I'll go and start another project right now.
Well, and people have to appreciate that this is a negotiation that has started yesterday. And Leon Draisaitl is going to be the benefactor of that negotiation. If Leon Draisaitl comes out in that press conference and says, hey, I love Edmonton, can't wait to be back, my agent's going to figure it out with the management, all's going to be well. Well, guess what, Leon? You just cost yourself a couple $1 million every year.
Yeah.
This is the reality of professional sports.
Yeah.
He's fighting for money. That's how it is.
Would lose all his leverage if he said he was going to re-sign EJD there and Nas 26 back in. Draisaitl isn't taking short-term deal. Been underpaid for years. If he signs an extension, it's 8 years, $14 million per. And look, get your term in, get your dollars in your time. I'm for it. Is it 4? Is it 8? Whatever. We can kind of come to an agreement here. But I just think the overall picture, whoever's pulling the levers, 2J, Jackson, Holland's out of the picture, but it'll still be for whoever the management team is looking after this thing, and Leon Draisaitl's party. I think both will come together and try their hardest to find again, it's not 100% this morning. I don't think anybody's saying that, But knowing what we know and only knowing what we can know, it seems very encouraging right now at this point.
Well, and isn't that another great question? Is who the hell's leading this ship? I mean, it's been very, very. They've been very vocal that it's not going to be Kenny Holland. So who's the guy? And Dustin made a great point. He I think he put it out on Twitter. Is do the Oilers need to now come in with and announce their new GM before Monday, before this free agent signing period? I mean, I guess if they know who it is, why wouldn't they announce it like today, right? And if they don't know, why the hell do you not know? I get that you've been embroiled in playoffs, but this is high-end stuff. This is top of the chain kind of.
The silence is deafening.
This is not Knobloch's pulling the string. Knobloch's coaching. He's got the team. Don't worry about it. Management, upper management should, and by all accounts, they were very close. And our dearest Tommy the Wrench has said several times that they are very tight-lipped about this, more so than ever, which is surprising to him. Usually he figures he can weasel out a couple.
Oh, for
things,
sure,
you
yeah.
know?
He's usually got a good beat on
But
something.
they've been very quiet. So if that's the case, and they know, why not announce it before that?
To make you squirm.
I could give two what's about it.
But no, you're right. I mean, it's you kind of want to get the steps in order here, and you kind of need to before you start the car, you want to know who's driving it, type of deal.
I think so. I mean,
it'd be ideal. I think.
Wouldn't free agents want to know too?
Yeah.
Who their boss is at the team they're going to?
EJD is on fire this morning. Kevin Lowe, new GM. Jimbo says probably a Matthews style deal, and yeah, I think that was bandied about yesterday as well. That maybe you could see something like that, a bit of a bridge type thing, 4-year type of deal. As per the Bleacher Report, there's no chance Leon stays. I say they're full of crap. Yeah, if we're as perring the Bleacher Report this morning. But hey, again, nothing for sure, and that's also a good lesson to keep in mind. But I just think, again, given what we know and given what we saw and heard yesterday, I get a good feeling about this group. And even for a guy like Adam Henrique, mentioning, at this stage of the game, winning a cup and being in a position to win a cup. It's one thing to want to win one. It's another thing to be in a position. Not a lot of teams can say they are where the Oilers are at right now. So that'll be important for a lot of these guys. Of course, contract Fogle had a year. Maybe he thinks a little differently, and money becomes a thing for him as well. Who knows? But have your say, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat as well. Let's call that the morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear this morning, shall we? It is the hot topic right now. Of course, management will be speaking later today. Some sort of management, maybe like a seven-headed monster, that type of thing. They roll it out and everybody talks at once. But 100.3 The Bear, check them out today. I will be on with McCord and Yukon probably in a matter of minutes talking about that, and a little bit of a week 4 in the CFL. But Marshall Ferguson, he'll be buying the opening hour to talk more about that. Marsh, he likes to dig in deep, and we'll be going around the horn with him on week 4 in the Canadian Football League, which begins tonight out in Vancouver. BC Lions 2-1, Edmonton Elks 0-3. Dustin Nielson has the call, 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Of course, you can join Jason Milne and Matty Iwanek. They'll be live on the Scene Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tonight for the Green and Gold kickoff show. I do believe you guys will be hitting the air 7 o'clock down there, and then wrapping things up as well on the post-game show following tonight's action. But we'll have more on that and the week ahead with Marshall Ferguson. That's at around 6:35 this morning. Luke Gazdic, he's back. The eyes are back. He'll get to eulogize the Oilers as well, as he does. And we'll get his thoughts on that. Buyouts, Draisaitl, getting the band back together, and everything else looming in this, again, incredibly short offseason for the Oilers. This is territory that a lot of the fan base hasn't been at before, certainly us. Offseason usually spans about 3 or 4 months. So we're going to get this thing going, and I don't think it's going to rest too much here during a brief offseason. Club Canada Hotline of the Day. We will go CFL for this specifically tonight. I know Jay's got a few things cooking, so you can follow him to the bank. Coolbet is where you can find that. That Hurts coming up at 7:30, and I Got Beef at 7:40 for Corey the Butcher in Acme Meats. I'm still on those European wieners, man. He makes it's just, everything down there is just fantastic. And when it's wrapped in the butcher paper, it's just got that extra. It's just got that. You can't taste the butcher paper, but you can taste it in your eyes. Yeah.
Seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions too many on the way. Just after 8 o'clock this morning. Scalding Hot Takes. Potholder on the line. Trev, feeling good today. We did a bit of a preview show before we got on the air. You mentioned you've cobbled together a handful of takes here, but still maybe
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more confident, I think, every week. It's coming a little bit easier for me, which is nice.
Did you go to the public this
Didn't
week?
have to.
Okay.
Nope, didn't have to. These are all my own takes. So we'll see how they are. But this is all me. Looking forward to it. I'm defending the pot holder. I'm 2-0 so far in defending it.
You are the pot holder.
I am the pot holder.
Usually they
so-
call me the pot holder
Yeah.
at social events, but now it's you. Yeah, so we'll do the pot holder. Walking Gauge. Of course, last Thursday, that hen day was all backed up. Nobody came in here. That was quite a time. It's always funny when somebody leaves. Like today, we don't got any boards and chords and everything else for the music. Of course, YouTube Trev locking that down, and we appreciate that. But hopefully everything today goes a little more smoother. We're off and running here. No sound on our end. But again, YTT's got it taken care of. Scalding Hot Takes, Walking Gauge, the judge should be in judging that as well as LTE v YTT 1v1 for the pot holder. The in-season tournament, if you will. Scalding Hot Takes for Claiborne Services. Once again, 780-218-9999 is the number to text. And come hard after that A&W. Again, dog days. A lot of people bidding adieu. Oh, the Oilers are done. Oh, that's it for me. I'll talk to you. Doesn't have to be. It is Edmonton Sports Talk. Lots of things going on, both locally, nationally, and internationally to discuss. And hey, as I've said too, during these times, during qualifying for certain shows, maybe your odds now are a little bit higher for getting, say, a text of the day from A&W or those type of things as well. So get your text in, 780-218-9999, and you might be off to A&W later today, treating yourself on us here at EST. Also, a few more chances to win today. We're still qualifying. We will be calling somebody as well just after Luke Gazdick this morning, probably around 7:20-ish, for the $100,000 swing to win. So if you did qualify yesterday on either one of the shows here on Edmonton Sports Talk, be by your phone around 7:20, and we could be giving you a call for the $100,000 hole-in-one swing to win. It's going down out at the ranch July 3rd. It's creeping up now, both that and the golf tournament, you plan these things in advance as you do, and you're like, it's July, and whatever. And here we are, Canada Day approaching, and we got this $100,000 swing to win happening next week out at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. So be by your phone once again around 7:20. If you did qualify yesterday, YouTube Trev will run the names through a randomizer. We'll pick one lucky contestant, and they will be the next one up. And at that time as well, we will give you a keyword for today, your next chance to get in and qualify for a call, perhaps tomorrow. So third last day of that.
Got a little praise report here in the nasty chat. Joel Balanaski said, Jay, Trillion is working wonderfully on the knotweed on my front lawn. Hashtag EST Farm Report. I'm gonna ask for a conch for Joe and his battle against knotweed and overcoming it.
He hates the weed.
He hates the weed. He's a weed hater. Let's get a conch for Big Joe.
It's not the pothole.
Yeah, I like the club beat loop conch.
It's not. You might think, technical difficulties. No, YouTube Trev is he's riffing today on the ones and twos. I told him, look, when you get this chance, June 27 for crying out loud, have a little fun. And that's what we're going to try to do. So please join in. Once again, if you want Trev to do anything funny with the conch, blow it upside down, inside out, whatever it is, let us know via the nasty chat or the Paris Jewelers inbox. Listening to Henrique yesterday wouldn't fully rule him out either. Penner's Pancakes, is that re-signing or resigning or moving somewhere else? No, I just found it. I just found the overall mood encouraging. It didn't seem like a real death march in the sense that, hey, the party's over now. We got to turn on the lights and everybody's got to go home. No. This is just the cops showing up. Then when they leave, you continue the party again, right? That type of vibe.
I think they'd be remiss to not try and run it back because they were pretty dang close. Yes, there could be a few acquisitions made, maybe bolstering that back end of the defense. Maybe pushing a guy like Nurse who's going to be grossly overpaid to play in the pairing he's playing in. But he's got to be pushed down the lineup. He's just not consistent enough to garner a top 4 D pairing, playing time. So that I think that would be something if the Oilers could address their defense. Maybe knocking a guy like CC out.
Yeah.
Maybe dropping a guy like Nurse down the line, although that's going to be painful due to what he's making. But
We got to get over it now.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is a terrible. I hate that saying
Unless
so
you
much.
buy him
because
out.
Sure, and then it's not what it is. But I mean, he's not. He's part of the core. He's not going anywhere. Yeah, he makes too much for what he is, but that is what it is. Man, I hate that saying so much. Ross Creek Nasty, RCN is in. He's trolling away. He's naming the whole Oilers management group as it stands. I love it. Pagnotta said Henrique's leaving. I mean, look, people can say a lot. I'm just saying I do believe that at this stage of his career, he just seems like a guy who may want. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But again, the overall tone yesterday, I thought kind of encouraging, and it does seem like a lot of people, I think it was Siggy that said, congrats on the Edmonton meet for doing their best to re-sign the entire bottom six to value deals yesterday. Hey, man, we're all in this together, right? We're all trying to get them over the line and get everybody where they need to be. Unfortunately, your old college colleague, Lowtide, has taken the Eastern Media's position and has been running Leon out of town since mid last season. Castor 1990, if you know Lowtide, as we do, he usually likes to take the contrarian point of view in hopes that, it's like betting against yourself all the time. If I want a team to win, I'll bet on the other team because I know I can't bet well, and then my team will end up winning. That's the Lowtide play. I know exactly what he's doing there. He can't get that past me. So he might be saying that, but he's not thinking it. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. We'll get to a sports update here from Jay Milne as well, but I want to get your thoughts. You were on the call yesterday down at Commonwealth for a great tournament that we previewed last week on the show. But a week's gone by. Things have happened. We're now down to the gritty-nitty, shall we say. Was it semifinals action? Japan and the States, Canada, Austria. You were down there with Dave Dawson. What was the vibe? What are you pulling away yesterday?
It was incredible. And I got asked to do this because Dave Dawson's normal color commentary go-to is Rob Herod, former Eskimo, actually. And he's great, but he had to do his son's graduation and go to be a part of that. It was the last day of school. So Dave asked me to come in and do color. I was very honored to do it, and it was a blast. I'm going to have a lot more insight to it because it was something I'll never forget, given that it was Japan versus USA.
Football World Juniors as well.
Yeah, Football World Juniors going down at Commonwealth and Clark Stadium. Now the finals are set. It will be Japan versus Canada this Sunday, 5 o'clock at Commonwealth. And if you have ever just wanted to see the weirdest looking thing in your life, go and watch this tournament championship game at 5 o'clock at Commonwealth on Sunday. Not only is it an NFL field inside the confines of a CFL stadium, which is weird.
To which your tweet blew up with that.
It went a little loco. But beyond that, it's very good football, but it's still 4-down football. It took me
and that's weird to watch here
a while
to
get over. But I'll say more on that when it gets to that hurts.
Okay. Love it.
Because, there was some hurting going on there yesterday. But, very honored to be a part of that, and it was a blast.
I think anytime you see Japan beating the USA in 4-down football,
ooh, that
it's man, oh man. Good on them, and good for Canada as well to reach the final here in Edmonton. So, once again, 5 o'clock Sunday, the finale, the 4-down finale with the smaller phone booth field down at Commonwealth. Gotta love American ball, hey? Maybe we'll get an EST Farm Report from ES2 later on the show.
I would love to.
Hashtag EST Farm Report. You got a few. You got your own heavy machinery going there down at the compound.
We were moving bales and taking numbers yesterday.
God, I love it.
Big day. But I did. I'll get to it. I saw something on my drive in this morning that was a little bit alarming, and it might explain some things.
On your drive, hey? I'd like to take a solo field trip out to your place one day.
Sure.
Like school, like very early in the morning. I pack a lunch. Just me, though. Hop on a bus.
Yeah.
There for a few hours.
I'd
you
come
tour me
pick you
around.
up.
But that's not the true. Me on a bus with a chaperone.
Okay.
Bag lunch, and then we have some games. And
bag lunch, name tag.
Yeah, back home by 3. Love
Eric.
Hi, my name is.
If I'm lost, please call.
My wife. We'll get to a sports update. Marshall Ferguson on the way in about 5. We'll do a very deep dive into Week 4 in the Canadian Football League. A very interesting one. Riders are on a bye, so we don't need to talk about them either. It all kicks off tonight out in Vancouver. Lions and Elks. And we'll start there with Marshall Ferguson, CFL and TSN. He'll be joining us just after this sports update with Jason Milne. This is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
The NFL draft goes Friday from the Sphere in Vegas, where the San Jose Sharks are expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini with the first overall pick. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. tomorrow night. The Riverhawks played host to the Bellingham Bells, where they were on the losing end last night, falling 8-4. Game 3 of the 3-game set goes tonight from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. The Jays kick off a 4-game set against the AL leading Yankees. First pitch from Toronto goes at 5:07. Canadian Zach Edey is now a Memphis Grizzly, as he was taken 9th overall in the NBA draft. Our very own Rip City Step, who's our NBA guy, was very happy about that one. European player Zachary Rize-Shea was selected first overall by the Atlanta Hawks. Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points and needs a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. In the Euro Cup, it's now entering the round of 16 with the next fixtures set for Saturday. And we'll see Italy face Switzerland and host team Germany square off against Denmark. As we just talked about, in the Football World Junior Championships, in semifinal number 1, Japan defeated the USA by a score of 41-20. And in the second semifinal, Canada comes on top, defeating Austria 27-20. It'll be Canada versus Japan for all the marbles. Game goes from Commonwealth Sunday at 5. Week 4 kicks off tonight in the CFL, where BC faces off with the 0-4 Elks. Join myself and Matty Iwanek for the Green and Gold Kickoff Show, live from Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Come down and say hi. We're going to be there all night. Coverage starts at 7 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, as well as on YouTube. This sports update has been brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Oh, yeah.
6:33, you're tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming 24/7, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, and as well on YouTube. As Corey at work said, did you just say the 0-4 Elks?
I did.
We don't want to get too far. They need all the help we can get here. The Elks, hopefully not 0-4 after tonight. They're in Vancouver tonight, tackling the BC Lions. And they bring in an 0-3. Lions 2-1, but a convincing 2-1, I really don't know. To me, the jury's always out on them. Jury out on Vernon Adams Jr. as well, ahead of tonight, 50-50. Yesterday, his status heading into the evening.
See, maybe that was a Freudian slip.
Well, that's
where I'm trying to will this team.
You're doing the low tide reverse psychology.
Yeah, I'm doing the reverse.
Yeah.
No, you want to screw me? No, I screwed you. No, it was just an honest mistake, to be honest. But the 0-3 Elks,
the winless
on the
Elks,
2-1 Lions, and I will say, as far as and we'll get into it with Marshall Ferguson here, and I will say that's probably the best 0-3 team in CFL history.
Losing from the hands of victory.
Hands of victory.
I mean, it's one of those things, and talent is there. This isn't a stinker of a team right now. The talent is there. They've been hanging with some really good teams, taking them to the limit. But I think, as you mentioned as well last week, it's moments, it's mistakes, it's discipline, it's things in football that you have to have squeaky clean most of the time to also be a successful team, not just the talent involved. So we'll get Marshall's thoughts and all that coming up here.
Well, and if you've been listening to the Elks kickoff show and the post game show with Maddie and myself, you'll have heard me say this several times, but it's been critical mistakes at critical times for this team. Bad penalties at the wrong time. You're always, penalties are going to happen, but there's some penalties that mean a lot more given what time of the game it is, what's happening on the field. So yeah, it's been very, very critical, and costly mistakes, costly drops, costly mental errors, costly penalties, costly fumbles. it just doesn't seem like they've been able to get it all on the same page at the same time.
And that's just it. You can have two of the three facets going in football. You can have
irrelevant. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, these things bubble up and they make a difference, and the timing of it all too. I mean, hell, the Rough Riders have been taking penalties as well, thick and fast, but it's not at those times where usually you can say, "Hey, this is costing you a game or a quarter or snatching momentum from you at a given time."
I mean, you go back to that Alouettes game at home a couple weeks ago, when the Owls went for a ridiculous third down gamble on a fake punt and had Josh DeBlanco, their number 1 overall pick, come in and stuff it, just to have it taken away and removed by a penalty, a blocking below the waist penalty. The Elks would have had the ball in scoring position already, and here, due to a penalty, the Owls get to kick it again, and we all know how the rest of that game finished out.
And we knew the schedule to start was going to be rough. They faced some tough teams, albeit early on the road again tonight in BC. There will be a bye week after this, and then the Elks are back home to host the Ottawa Red Blacks. That'll be July 14th, 5 o'clock kickoff on that one. So, yeah, depending on what happens tonight, maybe a lot of things could change. I know a lot of you in the Nasty Chat maybe are hoping things do change. But for more on that and Week 4 in general, we are joined now by Marshall Ferguson, CFL on TSN, and we appreciate his time this morning. Marshall, I know you got a big, busy morning ahead of you, so we won't keep you too long, but let's get into the good stuff here. We start tonight out in Vancouver, Elks and Lions, and as Jason Milne and I were just discussing, an Elks team, albeit 0-3, but playing some pretty good football and some good talent surrounding this team. I think it starts in the pocket with McLeod Bethel Thompson and the yardage that he's racked up early this season. But your thoughts on tonight, kicking off Week 4, an 0-3 Elks team needing a win in which they've, as I've said, they've been snatching defeat from the hands of victory this whole season.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. I think first and foremost, I'm excited to hear Dusty on the call, but he's been hoarding so many games that I'm actually the one in charge of the Draisaitl account. So that's my job for the next little while here, because Dustin's been taking all. No, but it's been super fun to watch the start of the season in Edmonton. You're right; they have so many opportunities to finally just punch their way through whatever this mental block is that they've had over the last couple of years and find ways to get wins, and it's been very, very difficult. McLeod is such a huge upgrade, and I know that fans were doing the old, we want Trey and whatever. People drink beer and they scream all sorts of things out of the stands, and it's not that I don't think Trey could win football games for them. It's that I think quarterback's not the issue, because McLeod Bethel Thompson is, in my opinion, the perfect fit for an organization like Edmonton, who is trying to establish themselves back in the win column consistently, because that dude is, and I know he gets kind of the winner's glow and all the rest from, championships and being the guy that led them through this and that, but he's, as a person, that's more important to me than the on-field performance. His on-field's pretty good. His as a person inside the locker room, like, I get that everybody kind of bangs him for the idea of, well, Chad Kelly finished out that Grey Cup and he really hadn't played all that well. The reason they were in that Grey Cup that year was because in training camp in Guelph, McLeod Bethel Thompson went to that group and said, I'm going to be the leader of this team. If you have a problem, come to me. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that do that, right? Because it's kind of like, I'm the quarterback and I'm the leader and I'm the face, and instinctually you get to be a captain. But he's the one that really sets the tone inside of the locker room. And with Chris Jones as the voice in that organization, offsetting that with the quarterback that has an equally strong sense of leadership and understands what it takes to actually win Grey Cups, because he's been around on a couple of them and he's been everywhere in the football universe. So if you're a dude from Duquesne University and you come up after 7 years bouncing around amateur football, essentially down in the States, he'll be like, hey, what's up, man? I relate. It's like that's hard to have as a quarterback too, because usually it's guys that are coming up that are just big names in the States. So what I'm saying is I love what McLeod brings. I think that there's a lot of untapped potential in that offense. I did love his quote, McLeod, a couple weeks ago, where he said, just because we've kind of stalled out or we've had some mechanical issues, it doesn't mean that we're not still a Ferrari. And I believe that Geno Lewis, in combination with Curly Gittens Jr., is good enough to be one of the best tandems in the entire CFL when operating at a high level. That they haven't consistently operated at that high level through and through, but I do think that they will get there if given the time. And for me, the bigger concern is just like discipline, penalties, poor decisions when it comes to whether it be special teams, situational, like that's the stuff that can actually lose you football games. So, BC at home, there might not be a 50-cent concert going on. It might not be 53,000 people and all the rest, but BC likes playing at home. BC's fast. That turf seems faster when there's orange jerseys on it. So they're going to be a very difficult out tonight, I would say. But I do think that Edmonton is pushing more teams than we would expect early on in the season based on where they've come from.
Well, it's funny you say that, given that they are 0-3. I mean, yes, it's been the most entertaining 0-3 team possibly ever, and certainly this year in the CFL, but they're still 0-3. Now,
Yep.
This is kind of the storyline here, given for Elks fans, and have seen the schedule that came out when it did, knowing that the Elks could possibly be 0-4 after week 4. Now there's still a football game to play tonight, obviously, and I truly believe it's a coin flip. I've watched every game intently, and that team can win on any night, but they can also lose on any night, and they have been close. So I'm not giving up hope, but should the Elks fall to 0-4, in your opinion, is this the end for Chris Jones? Or is this something that, because he's holding down the head coaching and the GM position, is this something where he drops one of those so he can focus more on the other? Or is this something where you have to look, I mean, you just said it yourself, do you have to look at those coordinator positions and put some onus on them as well? I mean, I know that's under the direction of the head coach, but I guess there's a lot of moving parts here. What do you see happening should this not go the Elks' way tonight? Because they are going into a bye week next week as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the bye week is always kind of, if we're going to hit the reset button, this is when we're going to do it, which is so strange to me because, I mean, I get why teams do it, and I've seen it happen several times since calling CFL games for TSN, but it puts this weird dark cloud over organizations in games like this where you're going into a game where you have a bye week following, and it's just like, you know, this game shouldn't hold this much weight, but just because of how the league office drew up the schedule, this means if you don't win this one, man, you're out of a job. And it's like, when that starts to go around the team, it's a very, I've talked to Mike Morreale about this from his days in the CFL with Toronto and Hamilton, where he basically said, yeah, like going into bye weeks, we would just feel really, really awkward because we thought like this shouldn't be a kind of a deciding game for our coaching staff. But I'll tell you one thing, if they do not end up winning in this game, I think they're certainly closer because the belief will start to drain out. And I've seen teams go 0-5, 0-6, 0-7 and still be in the hunt. That was in the East. And the East is typically a division in the Canadian Football League where you can lose 2 of your first 4 or 3 of your first 6. You can be a 500 team. And if you've played against a bunch of teams from the West and you finish with a bunch of games against the East, you might be a 2 seed by the end of the season, right? Like the team that typically wins the East is the one that starts to run away a little bit early on, which looks like it'll probably be Montreal. And then the East is still wide open. The West is super competitive, and there's one more team based on the way that this thing is crafted. So if you start to fall to 0-4, all of a sudden, yes, you've got Winnipeg there. Who would be betting on Edmonton to figure things out the remainder of the season more than Winnipeg? I mean, that's just not going to happen. Like, Winnipeg is going to figure this out. They might not be as good as they have been, but they're going to figure something out, and they're going to improve through the remainder of the year. Calgary, I think, is going to be vastly improved, and BC is there. So that basically leaves Saskatchewan sitting in the spot that they are at 3-0 as the swing team of, are they going to be able to knock out Winnipeg, Calgary, or BC? Because if you're Edmonton, that leaves you on the outside looking in. So, yeah, if you hit 0-4, you're probably not looking at the playoffs because it's a deeply competitive West. And at that point, if you're going to have another playoff-less season, is it time to make a move? If they do, what I'm really interested in is, can you make that move with all of the ownership questions up in the air? Because you would think that the owners would probably want to be coming in with their head coach or, whatever they want to craft the organization to look like. Because you're spending a lot of money to go and get a professional football franchise. You might as well go and get the people that you want and put them in place the way that you want because you paid the money. So I'm intrigued by the timeline right now because who knows if ownership wants to be announced in season by the Canadian Football League. I have no idea. I'm not an insider. I'm not Farhan. I'm not Dave. I'm not Dunk. Any of those guys. I just feel like if I were trying to craft in-season, content and messaging into our fans, an ownership change and a coaching change is not going to help ticket sales at Commonwealth. So that's a tough sell. But what's a tougher sell? Going 0-5, 0-6, 0-7, and having a coach that everyone goes, ugh. Or having all of this change and saying, hey, come on down to Commonwealth. It's all brand new, and it's the new shiny version of all these things. So if a coaching change is made, I think Jason Shivers deserves an opportunity to be an interim coach for the remainder of the season. I think he's a hell of a defensive coach, not that Chris Jones is not, but I also think that he's somebody that the players play for, and they have in their past, whether he was working in Saskatchewan or otherwise. And he feels like the natural fill-in from within. But again, with ownership questions, is it that he gets to jump into that spot because he just happens to be the guy on staff who makes the most sense? Or if this coaching change happens, if ownership changes, is announced in the next couple of weeks, is there the potential that they just go off the board and bring somebody in? But I mean, going from Jamie Elizondo to Scott Milanovic, who's the coach but never actually coaches, to, you go down the line of like swing and a miss, and they had to go through the whole coach's salary cap, and then they got Mulligan on one of these, and then then this one gets cleaned off the books just in time to make time for the new coach, but he has to take 7 jobs in order to make the money make sense. And they just need to find an answer, man. Edmonton's too good of a football market to not find answers.
Well, and it's a bit of a sleeping giant too, as well. And you mentioned the ownership issue, which obviously looms. We did have a bit of a loose timeline on that, but that's kind of gone cold. I think again they want to get that right. They want to do it properly. And you mentioned too, in terms of going down the ladder, you figure that out first, then you do the rest. I just think this fan base right now, and gauging as we do here, you could name Jay or I head coach today, and a lot of people would be rushing to the ticket office just because a change was a change for change's sake, really, at this stage of the game, for a lot of fans. But I want to get your thoughts too. They are playing another team tonight in the BC Lions. Reports yesterday of Vernon Adams Jr. 50-50, whatever. Looks like he'll be drawing in. The Elks too. Heard Jay Mayala will be out this week. Boyko draws back in, but just want to get your thoughts. A quick scout on the Lions, what you've seen from them, what you've liked, what maybe you haven't liked through their 2-1 season thus far.
Yeah, I think it's Vernon Adams type of football, right? It's the most aggressive downfield passing attack in the Canadian Football League. Alexander Hollins has really stepped into the role that I had hoped he would in terms of developing, because I think when he came in, he was kind of fast guy running around and making as many plays as he could, and he racked up a bunch of statistics, but it kind of felt like Kyron Moore in Saskatchewan, if I could put a comp on that, where it's like, yeah, he's all over the place, he's making a bunch of catches, but it's like, I don't know if this is sustainable or if this is just like a fun dude running around and making a bunch of plays. So, and that's always the difference, right? Is like Gino Lewis, when he came into the league, obviously different body type and style of play, but when he was in Montreal, it was like, yeah, he made a bunch of catches, and then it was like, is this going to be a thing, or is he just going to be one of those dudes who shows up for a year or two, like Stephen Dunbar has been and was in Hamilton before he went to Edmonton and did nothing, where it's like, okay, yeah, big body, cool, and but where did he go? Like, he just starts to evaporate, right? We're seeing that with Tim White now too, right? Like the idea of receiver that comes in is like, yeah, this is going to be, he's a 5-year all-star. We might have jumped the gun on that one because he's not making the same type of catches or number of catches. So Hollins has stepped into that role, and it looks like he can be a true star in the CFL over the next couple of years if he keeps up with this kind of chemistry with Vernon Adams Jr. I love the way that they've been balancing their run pass a little bit more. I like the way that they've designed their offense. Jordan McSimic, I think, is one of the best coordinators in the CFL. He has been really for a while now. Like, we're getting up there in years of him. It's no longer a shock when a McSimic coordinated offense looks like they have their bleep figured out. So I like the way that BC plays, and I really like the way that they play at home. They seem like one of those teams, and it fits because they're hosting the Grey Cup this year, that they're trying to get home field in the playoffs. They're taking advantage of a slow start from Winnipeg right now. They got to hold off Saskatchewan, and they got to hold off Calgary. But if they could get that always wanted bye in the playoffs, which is forever months away, and they could get themselves one home field game in order to play on home field in the Grey Cup, I think that's their goal. They just have a different energy when they play at home. So like I say, Edmonton is in very tough, but I do like the way that they've kind of built their roster out as well. Like, there's a reason why when we were doing the CFL draft coverage this year, there were 2 picks that were given at the end of the second round, and it was not the territorial, right? Because the territorial stuff is just strange and confusing and infuriating. Like, we're sitting there on draft night and going, where's that kid born? Is he eligible for the team that has the pick at 19? Or like, we don't even know, because it's like the regions are kind of drawn up with crayon, and then every year they seem to change. It's very strange. But I love at the end of the second round, they gave an extra second-round pick to the teams that played the most Canadians from the previous season. And those two teams were Winnipeg and BC, who were the best two teams, in my opinion, in 2023 in the CFL. Shocking that if you play more Canadians in the Canadian Football League,
it's a theme, baby.
You might have a good football team.
Yeah.
So BC played the most. They've built their roster with players of importance in positions of power. And now they get an opportunity to add to that with an extra second-round pick. And then you look at their roster when it gets announced, when the depths come out, and it's like, man, they've got a lot of very, very good Canadian players in a lot of different positions. And I think the way to build your roster in 2024 and beyond is stop going wide receiver, left guard, third-string running back, backup weak side linebacker. Like, you don't have to peg these spots. You can just go, where are our best players?
Yeah.
Who do we think can make our football team better? And Rick Campbell and his staff in BC have done that. So I like the way they've constructed their roster as much as anything else that they do.
Marshall Ferguson, CFL and TSN, joining us. Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne with you this morning. Dustin Nielson will have the call tonight out in Vancouver. Lions and Elks. Shifting down the line here quickly, Marsh, with you. It is Canada Day weekend, and who would have thunk that the game of the week, arguably maybe to some, but would be out east in Toronto. Argonauts 2-0, Alouettes 3-0. Montreal look completely unstoppable, albeit 3 games in. But coming off the Grey Cup win, the last half of the season it was for them, all of that momentum. Now they're coming out of a bird cage down there at Molson. Like, the vibes are high in Montreal. Great crowd last week. But how do you think this one shakes out as well? Toronto, again, 2 wins, 2 games. But we haven't really been talking about Chad Kelly at all, which is probably a good thing for the Argos and the league as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got a chance to talk with Cam Dukes yesterday because I'm on the call for this one on Friday night. And it's I love the fact that Montreal, in a 9-team league, you should not be able to carry over championship success, especially when we have crazy free agency in the CFL where everybody goes everywhere. Somehow Jason Moss has been able to do that, and it's very confounding to all of us on the CFL and TSN, but we're watching it develop. It feels as though the season ended at the Grey Cup and started at the end of May, and it feels like it was 2 days between. Like, it doesn't feel as though there was this huge separation in offseason and all this movement. So I love that he's been able to carry that over. That's a huge credit to that coaching staff and even Danny Machocha, because we were actually in the booth for Montreal's home opener in the Grey Cup banner unveiling last Thursday against Ottawa, where they just blew out the Red Blacks in the first half 30-1. And we were looking at the actual roster. I was actually talking with AJ Jakubek from TSN 1200 in Ottawa. And he said, we were going through the list and trying to figure out pronunciations on guys. And we realized we know everybody on this Montreal team. There's been like 2 changes. It's like they have basically everybody back. And if they swapped out a player or 2, they just brought in like a Derek Wigan and a Dylan Wynn. It's like, well, those are established veteran CFL players that are still playing at a very high level. So they've done a very good job, again, of trying to keep that rolling. And I love the idea that Toronto has found, through all of the adversity, something to rally around, which is Cam Dukes. And I can confirm Cam Dukes is a very easy person to cheer for because he's just kind of a dude. Yeah. Like, he's one of those from down south where he's just so relaxed and comfortable in his own skin. And I think I'm excited to see, not necessarily this game. I mean, I obviously very much am to see Montreal's defense, which is incredible because their whole goal is stop you short on first down, put you in 2nd and 7 long, and then Noel Thorpe is just going to get the fangs out and try and kill you. But I love that Cam Dukes has played at a high level the first couple of weeks. We'll see how he does against that. Once there's 3 weeks of film, that's always what I like to call the Rakeem Cato cutoff line. You lay down 3 games worth of film, and immediately the question becomes, does the league figure you out? And some defensive coordinators will do it before 3 games of film, and I think Noel Thorpe might be that guy because he's that talented. But it's always the question is, okay, once we get past week 4, we enter July, can Cam Dukes still play at a highly efficient level, or does some of the magic start to wear off? So that's the biggest thing I'm questioning going into this game Friday night.
Hell of a Rakeem Cato shout. I'm going to have to, if I might borrow that phrase for casual conversations here.
Marshall Thundering Herd. I always got to slip in a Rakeem Cato reference.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Herd.
No, but exciting times in Toronto. Obviously, I mean, Kelly, all that negativity, but Dukes does seem like a guy that's easy to cheer for and get behind. Just wanted to finish up here, of course, Blue Bombers and Stamps from Calgary Saturday, and the Ticats 0-3 as well. Bo and Tim White figured this thing out here anytime soon there, Marshall?
Oh, man. I mean, I think Bo's figured it out. I'm waiting on Tim to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is Bo is healthy, as I think we've seen him in the last couple of years in black and gold, and I think he's throwing the ball fairly accurately. The thing that was really concerning for me, and I'll tie this all together for you on the way out, is in support of Japan and the IFAF, I am wearing my favorite Japanese manufacturer of motorcycles for you guys this morning, so go Honda. But I was also at a Rad Torque Raceway last weekend in Edmonton, right out by the airport, and the Canadian Superbike Championship was there, and so we're there, and I'm finishing up on Sunday, and we're tearing down everything, and I sit down at a picnic table, and I grab a chicken Caesar wrap, and I turn on my phone, I open the TSN app, and I start watching, and it's Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and I see Bo throwing to a number 76, and my immediate thought was, sentimental value, maybe guys got to... guys, let's be real. Our experience in the CFL, if you're throwing to a receiver wearing 76, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong. Okay? And Shamar Bridges, congratulations to him. He's playing at a high level. But when I was covering the Tiger Cats on radio, it was Brandon Banks and CJ Gable, and you'd have Canadians like Dave Stala and Andy Fantuz and Luke Tasker, and it's like, some of these guys, I got questions, man, because Bo, I think he needs a little bit more from his skill position players, because I don't really think it's his fault the way that this thing has opened up.
Especially that loss to the Stamps, too. I mean, that was just a 101 in dropping balls, I guess.
But when you try to fit it into a tight window to a guy that's inexperienced in the CFL who's wearing a whack number, and then he comes back the next throw and he just completely underthrows a ball basically, into coverage and gets picked off, and it's like, Bo... This is something I'm always intrigued by that I could talk about for an hour, but I'll just fit into 20 seconds, which is I love when quarterbacks, you see them in the offseason, and they're ripping, on Instagram, throw, and they're perfecting their mechanics, and they're making every single throw look easy, and they're hitting all the tires in it. And then they go into the season, and they just make the dumbest throw possible. And the reason for that is that they get desensitized because they've taken 1,000 reps in season, and they forget everything they learned in the summer, which is human. But when I see sometimes people make decisions that are poor early in the season, it just makes me feel like, okay, that's not because you've already forgotten about your repetition and your practice and your preparation. That's because something just isn't clicking. So Hamilton is, I would say, a wait to see at this point whether or not they can figure this thing out.
And Marshall, we can't let you go. The double stack here, we got you, so we might as well ask. The Red Bull Ring Racing returns Formula One style, the Austrian Grand Prix this weekend. Who's on the podium for you when all this thing is said and done on Sunday?
You know what? I think the grip on that Red Bull is pretty... My favorite part of Austria, I think, is there's limited overtaking opportunities. Like, you're typically going front straight or you're going in between turn 1 and turn 2. I believe it's a double DRS activation zone, and... My favorite part is who can hit. This is when you get really nuanced to do it. And I remember this because in the peak pandemic, Austria was where they went for back-to-back races. Yeah. And the big question was, who can use the sausage curb on the exit of turn 1 to their advantage the most? There is a yellow curb that is, they call it the sausage curb because it's kind of like in the ground. It's got half rising. And it's basically a skill test of you come through turn 1, you turn to the right, and can you get your left front tire onto the edge of this thing in order to get enough grip to basically shoot you back into the track to open up DRS and try and pass somebody. Climbing up the hill through turns 2 and turns 3, I think is the most interesting part of this track. And the Red Bull is better than anybody when it comes to downforce, DRS, straight line speed. McLaren's been great throughout this season, but Austria it's a fun track. It's better than Hungaroring. I would say it's probably even better than some of the other ones we see in Europe. Like, I think Barcelona's a little bit overrated, but there's limited overtaking opportunities, but it does seem to facilitate in the middle of that lap a lot of really close racing, which typically leads to a little bit of controversy, which is great for the fans as well.
Sausage curbs and a Rakeem Cato drop. Marshall, 10 out of 10 this morning. We appreciate your time as always. You got the call, Argonauts and Alouettes, Friday Night Football on TSN. Thank you for your time, man, and good luck with everything else going on later on this morning with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. And if anybody wants to watch the Superbike races that happened out there in Edmonton at Rad Torque Raceway, they will be on TSN. I'll send you guys a link once I know exactly when the air dates are. But yeah, we're going to voice those coming up in a couple of days, and then people can see your Rad Torque Raceway, a wonderful facility out there in Edmonton on TSN with some great racing.
Love it, Marsh. Thanks so much for your time, man. Marshall Ferguson, CFL on TSN, and we appreciate his time both on the 3-down football and as well in the F1. 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox. You can also share your thoughts in the nasty chat as well, either CFL Week 4, Formula 1, or, as always, the ever-popular Edmonton Oilers, and we'll be getting back to them coming up next. We'll be joined by Sportsnet's Luke Gazdic. He'll be by to eulogize the season as it was. Maybe it's a wake for him, as we said, and as we saw some of the players speak yesterday down at their media veils. So we'll get his thoughts on the season it was, the Stanley Cup final it was, and maybe a bit of a glance as well into the future and the short off-season it will be for the Oilers this summer. We are presented by South Fort Chev. You can check them out today, www.southfortchev.com. The manager has Nerf guns in his office. So if you are looking to buy a vehicle and you wanted to dress up the experience just a little bit differently and you have some children or something, drop them by. South Fort Chev. They'll take care of you. They'll take care of the kids, and it'll be a fun buying experience for sure.
Did you and Dustin talked about this earlier this week, that if you go in there and you go see Danny and his team at South Fort Chev.
Yeah.
And if things work out and you leave there with a truck, I think they're giving you off quite a bit off, your accessories.
15% is what the rumored number. 15% on accessories. Now, we were talking yesterday. What defines an accessory? You go in there and you ask, and I think you start high, right? I said another vehicle to tow behind your truck. That's an accessory.
Sure.
Camper vans usually have an accessory. That's you could. I don't know if they'll let you off the lot with that, but.
Maybe a hard cover.
You start there and then you go down to the hard,
Start with the Gusto.
Start with the mini car to attach to the back of your truck, and then just
and then leave with only the hitch.
Whatever.
That would
but
tow
still
that
15%. Still 15%.
It's the real deal. That's pretty good.
SouthFortChev.com is where you can check them out, or in Fort Saskatchewan today. We'll get a sports update here from Jason Milne when we come back. As promised, Sportsnet's Luke Gazdic. He is in the bullpen, so we'll get to him shortly here. This is the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne, YouTube Trev behind the monitors.
The NFL Draft goes this Friday from the Sphere in Vegas, where the San Jose Sharks are expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini with the first overall pick. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. tomorrow. The Riverhawks played host to the Bellingham Bells, where they were on the losing end, falling 8-4. Game 3 of the 3-game set goes tonight from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. The Jays kick off a 4-game set against the AL leading Yankees. First pitch from Toronto goes at 5:07. And Canadian Zach Edey is now a Memphis Grizzly, as he was taken 9th overall in the NBA draft. And European player Zachary Rizache was selected first overall by the Atlanta Hawks. Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points and needs a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. And in the Euro Cup, it's now entering the round of 16, with the next fixtures set for Saturday, as they will see Italy face Switzerland and host team Germany square off against Denmark. And as we discussed earlier, in the Football World Junior Championships, in semifinal number 1, Japan defeats the mighty USA by a score of 41-20. And in the second semifinal, Canada came out on top, defeating Austria 27-20. It'll be Canada versus Japan for all the marbles. Game goes from Commonwealth Stadium Sunday at 5. Go down there and check it out. It is affordable, crazy-looking field, and it'll be a good family time. Week 4 in the CFL kicks off tonight in BC, where the 0-3, I repeat, 0-3 Elks visit the 2-1 Lions. Join myself and Matty Iwanek for the Green and Gold Kickoff Show live from the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Coverage starts at 7 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, as well as YouTube. This sports update has been brought to you by Park Mazda. And on that note, I'd like to share a quote. Mazdas are all about speed. Hot, nasty, badass speed. Eleanor Roosevelt, 1936.
The Nielson Show, featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
7:05, you're tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming the iHeart TuneIn radio apps and as well on YouTube. 15 degrees, showers throughout the day, 90% pop, however you want to define that, possibility, precipitate, whatever it is. There's going to be rain today, and it's going to be raining throughout the morning, afternoon, and into the evening, it looks like. So a rainy day, 15 degrees here in Edmonton. Lieutenant Eric in, Jason Milne as well. Dustin Nielson on the call tonight. CFL and TSN, Lions and Elks from Vancouver. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff locally. Of course, we will set you up at the Green and Gold kickoff show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Jay Milne and Matt Iwanek live at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Things get underway at 7. Go down there and visit the guys. I know they got some great specials down at Centric Casino, as they do. Renee's running a tight ship down there. So go down, see the guys, join the show, or if you can't, certainly tune in. 7 o'clock, the boys get on the air tonight, and they'll be by after tonight's game as well, breaking down all of the action on the post-game show. The Nielsen Show, of course, presented by South Fort Chev. We're coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, where you can get the boneless ghost pepper wings today. And, of course, we'll be giving out a text of the day, courtesy A&W, where they have 2 Mama Burgers for $9.99 right now. So text into the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, whether it's the Elks, whether it's the Riverhawks, or even the Oilers now, based on the player avails yesterday and management meeting with the media later today. We're going through it, and we're going to go through it together, and we're going to bring on our next guest here who is going through it. And, I think a lot of you, all of our insiders and analysts provide a different spice to the show, but certainly Luke Gazdick in his maiden year with us has knocked the detractors down. He's won himself over with the fan base. People love you, Luke. Being a former Oiler doesn't hurt, but we've loved the analysis you brought to the show this season. Luke Gazdick, it's brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, and you can check out and support the guys down at Pro-Am today. They'll be closed for an extended Canada Day long weekend, Friday through Monday, but again, you can check them out today. Unlike the NHL insiders, they will be back to work on Tuesday instead of posting pictures from the cottage. So stay tuned as well for details from Pro-Am for the granddaddy of all sales. They'll be going down in July, proamsports.ca. Luke, good to see you, man. I'm just going to give you this time to eulogize here. Share your thoughts on what it was. A cup run for the ages. You get as close as you can knocking on the door, ultimately falls short by even a score of 2-1, which is a funny scoreline because we've been saying the Oilers now know how to win these games, but just a little, the war of attrition failing at the end there. But your thoughts on the season, the cup run it was, and then I think the words as well yesterday from the players getting in front of the media with their clean-shaven faces.
Well, man, what a run it was from start to finish, man. This was, my first year personally too, getting my, getting my feet wet in the media industry and following this Oilers team from the first game of preseason all the way till the very last one, the ups and the downs, man. The start, I remember being at Sportsnet when they lost 3-2 to San Jose, and I remember having to go do a post-game hit after that and just they kept asking me what's going on with this team, and I had no answers. I just said, this is something out of my control. I have no idea. And the coaching changed, the 16-game heater, and it was just so much fun to follow along. And then the playoffs come, and it was so much fun to be a part of. I got to cover the second round, the Vancouver series, and getting all the way to the end and making the comeback, being on site in Edmonton. I will say, man, this is one thing I do want to say is we were there for the entire finals. And I am so glad that the hockey world and I guess the world got a glimpse inside of Oilers hockey and what it means to Edmonton and Edmontonians. People like Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak, who I was working with, was really their first time and their first experience in Edmonton. And the people could not have been more hospitable, more friendly. We were treated just with such kindness and such respect, parked right down there in Moss Pit for the majority of the finals. And it was just such a blast. It was such a fun ride to be a part of. Even, Game 7, we were inside the rink watching with the fans as they watched away on the screen too. And to be honest, guys, I really did think they were going to get it done. I was sitting there before 7 thinking that I thought it was just fate. I thought it was destiny. I thought everything was kind of lining up, and it just looked like they ran out of gas at the end. Sergei played outstanding in the game that he needed to play outstanding, and it looked like they just ran out of gas, and it was disappointing. But I will tell you, I don't know how hard it is to win a Stanley Cup. I've never made a run like that in my life, but I can tell you for sure now that these Oilers learned in real time how hard it is to win a cup. And I don't know how many people are saying this now, but they'll be back there. And it might even be as soon as next year. I see a lot of parallels between what the Panthers did last year and what they did this year to what the Oilers did. And I have no problems or concerns with them re-signing Leon and Connor. I think they both re-sign. I think they make it work. They will figure it out. There's nowhere else for those two to go. They're going to be here. And I think they're going to be right back in that Stanley Cup final sooner rather than later.
Well, you know, producer YTT is buzzing after you just said that. He's vibrating as he is very excited that the prospect of both of them being back here. I mean, seeing what you saw and seeing how close they were, it'd be hard not to think they'd run it back. And by the way, earlier in the week, our very own Dustin Nielson did crown the Edmonton Oilers 2025 Stanley Cup champions.
He quoted it. Yeah. We got the receipts.
So he has receipts for that. Now, there's lots going on. Obviously, the Leon Draisaitl press conference yesterday, a player that needs to be re-signed. You look at some of the issues on the back end, the Oilers defense with a player like Broberg who emerged in these playoffs and came in and played pretty damn well. Does that make a guy, you know, like Desharnais or a CC a little bit more expendable in the offseason and maybe they can find somewhere else to put those dollars? What do you see as some of the biggest storylines heading into the offseason here, Luke?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think you kind of alluded to it there. I think the playoffs were a great view. We got a great view of what we had with a couple players, and Phil Broberg was one of those guys. You realize that he is a top 6 NHL defenseman, and he'll be there on that blue line next year. I feel bad for Vinny Desharnais. I really do wish they could re-sign him, but knowing UFA, there's probably going to be some team that's going to throw an offer at him that he will simply not be able to refuse, which sucks because I love the way he plays. He's one of the bigger, tougher guys there. The way I see this is this was an Oilers team, and I know I'm kind of going back a bit, but this was an Oilers team with serious holes and serious flaws that made it within one goal of winning the Stanley Cup. And this is going to be Jeff Jackson's first run at this thing, being able to kind of look at those holes, look at those problems, look at those flaws, which are on the blue line. A couple depth forwards. I'm sure they're going to take a run at re-signing Henrique. I'm sure they're going to take a run at re-signing Sam Carrick, but we'll see. They certainly need some help down the middle. Be an interesting offseason, but they do have some holes to fill. And I always like seeing a new, I'll call him the president, but he's running the show. A new president have kind of a clean slate at this thing and be able to go after whoever he wants and plug in those holes as needed.
Well, Luke, and I just wanted to say before I forget, you, Osmac, and Reed were a great threesome, man. I really enjoyed the two of them, and then you in the mix. I really enjoyed it. It was a great watch throughout the run. But I think you mentioned too in the availability yesterday, and this is what I took out of it. In case people didn't know what transpires here during a cup run, they now do. Both Oilers and players from other locales. And maybe when you go into courting this summer in free agency and we're looking, and you mentioned a guy like Adam Henrique. I mean, I think Connor Brown gets a lot of shouts in this market as well for what he did, Matthias Janmark. I mean, how much of this band can you realistically see getting brought back together? Because I think it was a great PR campaign to illustrate to new Oilers such as a Henrique or whatever, or even a Connor Brown, that if you didn't know it, it matters here. This is important. You can become a legend. And for potential UFAs outside the market that's saying, well, what do I want? Money, chasing up or whatever. Well, this looks like a very, very fun time and something I'd like to be a part of and try my hardest to be a part of it, money aside. So I guess when it comes to like free agency, and again, you mentioned some of these guys, Carrick and Henrique, but the Connor Browns, the Matthias Janmarks, even the Fogle, to which we always said this season, it was contract year Fogle. How much of this band do you realistically see actually coming back together for puck drop next season?
Yeah, well, you nailed it on the PR campaign for sure. If that's a look not only for guys around the league, guys on the team. Brownie's a perfect example. I didn't mention him. I do believe he will be coming back. Warren Fogel's a guy I think very much like Desharnais that they simply don't want to say simply will not be able to afford, but I do think there'll be a team that will throw something at him that it'll just be too tempting to take. But I think this was a great PR campaign as teams look around the league and watch playoff hockey and they go, wow, like this is what it's like in Edmonton if we make a run. Like this is incredible. And even with word of mouth, like you know how much guys talk. As soon as UFA period starts, the phones are buzzing between players, right? So if there's a free agent talking to Jeff Jackson, you know he's texting multiple guys on the team being like, hey, so what's it like there, this and that. And I think this run was about as perfect as it could have been to show guys, like, where would you rather be? Like, if they give you an offer and you like it here, they treat you well, the rink's incredible, they have the, I'm going to call them craziest fans, but probably the best fan base in hockey. Why would you want to go anywhere else? Or if you're a UFA, why wouldn't you want to come here? So I think the whole playoff run, including the finals, was definitely a good look outside the league at maybe tempting some guys to come in here and to sign and create this roster for next year. But I do think Brownie will be back in saying that. I do think they're going to find a way to make Henrique and Yanmo. If they can find a way to get that whole third line back and just run it back, as they haven't had a third line in so long. Like they've had a couple looks at a fourth line. They've always had a first and a second, but if they can come back and have that whole third line back for, you know, a decent price, that's a good look.
It'd be a hell of a win. And then we talked about the blue line too, but the emergence of a guy like Holloway and Broberg pushing up as well. I mean, you bring that third line back, and then you got some other pieces, and maybe some people from outside the market. Like I just, and you mentioned the management too. I think, you know, Holland doesn't get his cup here, albeit with him on the payroll and everything. But I think you can also look at his time here and say, yeah, in terms of other GMs in this market over the past, you know, seasons, he's done some good things and plugged some very large holes that needed plugging in a Zach Hyman and a Matthias Ekholm and such. But that third line, I mean, you mentioned it. That's kind of something I think a lot of fans are circling around on. And if you can get 2 or 3 or even the full 3, that would be seen as an off-season win. I just want to get your thoughts too. And I mean, this is such a generational run. We got the draft coming up tomorrow from Vegas. I mean, these young kids watching this cup run and everything. I mean, I speak about UFAs today, but this really signals to like a larger spectrum of kids watching, growing up, even playing minor hockey. But these guys that will be taking part in the draft. I mean, if you want to check out markets and see where you want to be and where you need to be, again, the selling features that the Oilers provided during this run have been outstanding and second to none.
Yeah, I mean, for any kid watching on, he would be extremely elated to get here. I talked to Bo Akey a bit last year and kind of throughout this run of how excited he is to eventually start to play pro and get going. And I mean, I float back to when I was drafted, and it was the Dallas Stars, who I didn't know a ton about, and I was still super excited. But any kid sitting there that gets to get drafted by a Canadian team, let alone Edmonton, like, what a feeling. And I think you nailed it too with Holloway, sorry. And I know I had mentioned Broberg, but the playoffs really gave us a good look at some of these young players and what they have in them. And you know, Dylan is ready to go. I was saying to Kenny Reed, as soon as he kind of figures out his hockey sense a bit, starts to figure out the league a bit, he's going to be an absolute stud. He's got all the tools, and he's going to be a heck of a hockey player. I also just think back to how valuable Matthias Janmark was during this playoff run. And I remember sitting here with you guys throughout the preseason, and remember there was that whole battle for like the last roster spot. And I just remember how many fans were like, it should have been Adam Earl.
Feel the urn. You know, yeah.
Or like Lavoie over Janmark. And I just remember thinking, like, I've been through so many training camps that players like that you might see in training camp, and they just, that's not where they're going to shine. They shine in the toughest parts of the season when the chips are down and when it's dog days through the end of the year in the playoffs. And I'm so glad he played well. It was just so fun to watch a depth guy.
Well, and going back to the start when we were having that talk, would you have him scoring the only goal for the Oilers in Game 7 of the Cup final, right? Like, what a stretch pass by Ceci, and then he finishes it off.
I know, absolutely not. It was unreal to see his run, and I know that probably puts a couple extra dollars on his value, and that's why I'm hoping the Oilers can get him back. But you're right, man. We really got to see what we had in a couple of the young guys. Broberg was the one that impressed me the most.
Yeah.
Like, I remember sitting there in the second round, and I had called Colin Chalk down in Bakersfield because I knew nothing about Phil. Like, I'd never seen him. I haven't seen him play that much. And when we did, we saw him in very short bursts. And I talked to Colin for like half an hour, and this guy just sold me on him. He's just like, Gaz, this kid's going to be a stud. He plays 31 minutes for us. He's a one-man breakout, sick point shot. Like, he is a player, and he proved that, man. We really got to see a young kid blossom before our eyes, which I think a lot of people have been waiting for. So, man, there's a lot of positives going up here. Like, I was super sad after this thing ended. Like, we had some plans to stick around for a couple days, and I was super sad to have to get on the flight and fly home. But I just think there's so many positives for this team. I understand fans probably have concerns with the big guys getting signed and how you fill holes, but this is a team that's in a really good spot, and you can't say that about a number of NHL teams in the league.
Luke, just one more question for you here before we let you run. I just want to get your thoughts on this, and it's not hockey related at all. As we know, the Paris Olympics are coming up this summer, and I'm not sure if you heard or not, but the NBC just announced that an AI recreation of Al Michaels' voice will be part of Peacock's Olympic coverage. So at the end of every day, when they do the wrap up and they replay all of the highlights from that day, it's going to be an AI generated version of Al Michaels. What is your thoughts hearing that for the first time?
Well, I've seen AI start to take over a number of jobs in our society already. I just didn't know mine would be coming this quickly. So I knew the voices were coming. I'll tell you a quick story, actually. This is funny, AI. I walked into the Sportsnet studio I was just trying to think of what series it was. I think it was Edmonton, Dallas. Florida was playing New York, and Ron McLean shows me this video. And he goes, "Can you believe Sam Bennett said this? Like, I don't know why people are making a bigger deal of this." And so he shows me the video, and it's AI of Sam Bennett like dropping an F-bomb during the press conference. I was crying laughing. Like, I was just like, this is funny, but it's also really scary how
very scary
to realistic stuff. So I just didn't know when they were going to be able to do game analysis by themselves and highlights by themselves, but I don't know. Hopefully later rather than sooner, because I'm enjoying doing this stuff.
Joke's on us, as you've been AI all season, Luke, right? Isn't that now you can say it. It's the end of the season. You can get the big reveal here. We want to thank you for your time as well. Probably have you, I think Dusty mentioned like next week, draft recap, a free agency outlook, or whatever. But since the cup run is over, and again, your time with Reed and Osmac, let us know quickly here, the podcast as well, where people can find you, where people can digest your work online, whether it's AI or not. And what do you got coming down the pipe on the Mitsoff podcast, Luke?
So I will be doing my last Sportsnet shift of the summer, July 1st, free agency with David Amber and Colby Armstrong. We'll be on from 11 to 2:30. And then, I took a serious break from the pod. I just got so busy doing TV stuff and then traveling. So I'm hoping to do some cool content this summer. I have a couple things lined up, and always be following that because I'll have some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. And then hopefully things go well this summer, and you'll see some more of me on TV next year. But it's been a blast with you guys, man. Thanks for having me. And of course, I'll talk to you guys next week. I'm always available for you, but it's been a blast talking to you guys too.
Love it. Well, the fans love you too, Luke, and we appreciate your time, and good luck. I know it's a pod. It's a different pod and an interesting angle and a unique one. And I think we always appreciate that in the sport of hockey. So happy Canada Day, man. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the draft, free agency, and all that. And we'll chat next week.
Thanks, guys. Go Oil.
There you have it. Luke Gazdick. A rocketing up the charts in terms of our insiders, analysts this season. It's a new game to him as well, so we appreciate his time all season. And I know you nasties loved him all year too. Brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. Again, they will be closed, extended Canada Day long weekend. That begins tomorrow, so still open today if you wanted to swing by Pro-Am, talk to the guys, maybe get through this together. Of course, misery loves company, commiserate, let them know who you want the Oilers to buy out and what their plans are for the offseason. But unlike the NHL insiders, Pro-Am will be back to work on Tuesday instead of posting pictures from the cottage. You don't use cottage, do you? It's an Ontario thing. I get the point of it. Yeah, like
these are cabins.
Yeah, it's a cabin. Yeah, it's a cottage. Stay tuned. They have details for the granddaddy of all sales, and that'll be going down in July at Pro-Am Sports. So for more information, proamsports.ca. Love the work they do and supporting us and the insiders and analysts throughout the season. What are you pulling away from Luke there? Anything at all? I think, again, he wrapped that up pretty nice in terms of, and it's kind of my point, too. You're trying to take the silver lining out of all this, which, again, is tough when you lose the seventh game of a Cup series. But what a PR campaign. I mean, OEG got the most juice out of this squeeze. All of the home games you could get. You had concerts here. You had pretty good weather for most of the games. I think it was showcased off in I don't know how better of a showcase you could have as opposed to having a parade yesterday in a victorious fashion. But again, just for UFAs today, for Oilers on the team, which who are new to the market that may be thinking, what do I do next year? And again, with the draft tomorrow, people still talk about 06. And not so much that the Oilers, lost, but boy, what a ride, what a run, what a time on White or wherever you were. So this will echo going through, and it's not a one-off. This isn't a plucky 8th seed going and doing on a Cinderella run. We all fully expect this is just a continuation. I mean, Dusty said yesterday, print the shirts. Redemption, job not done, whatever cliche phrasing you want to use. Keep the cameras rolling. It'll be a great part 2 of the extended doc. It just seems like with all the storylines with Game 7 and which they could have won, a good documentary needs that as well to kind of reboot into the next season. I like where this thing is going right now, man, and it sucks to hear maybe 2 days after it all happened.
I agree. I said it earlier. I believe that this is a team that could run this back and overcome those early season issues that they had this year. I think Knobloch's got the room's attention. How long he can hold that, I'm not sure. But you're absolutely right. What a great spectacle it was to be here in Edmonton in June during a playoff run and see this city for something other than the barren northern cold land, wasteland, whatever that opposing teams and free agents might think it is. It's actually one of the world's most beautiful cities, and we all know that. But it was nice for the rest of the hockey world to see that as well.
So we appreciate Luke's time. Once again, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, and he most likely, the insiders, you know how we do. If you've been riding here, it's a week after we go into the free agency, and then bid them adieu for the summer months. But I do welcome back Luke working on the pod as well. That would be a nice take during the time off in the off season. What off season? Still to come. We will do a call. I guess we can. After the update. Let's do it after the update. We'll have a sports update now with Jason Milne here. Be by your phones if you did qualify yesterday for the $100,000 swing to win. YouTube Trev will be calling somebody. We'll give you another keyword as well, so you can get in the mix for a call perhaps tomorrow, as the swing to win is next week, July 3rd, out at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Sports update, we'll come back with That Hurts and I Got Beef. If anything's hurting you right now, if you got beef with anything, please let us know via the Nasty Chat on YouTube or in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. It is the Nielson Show, Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Trev, and Jason Milne with a sports update here for Park Mazda, Green Plan, and everybody else.
The NFL draft. NFL on my mind is thinking football. The NHL draft goes Friday from the Sphere in Vegas, where the San Jose Sharks are expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini with the first overall pick. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. The Riverhawks played host to the Bellingham Bells, and they came out on the losing end, falling 8-4. But don't fret, Game 3 of the 3-game set goes tonight from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn Radio apps. The Jays kick off a 4-game set against the AL leading Yankees. First pitch from Toronto goes at 5:07. And Canadian Zach Edey is now a member of the Memphis Grizzlies, as he was taken 9th overall in the NBA draft. European player Zachary Rizache was selected first overall by the Atlanta Hawks. Canada sits second in Group A in Copa America on 3 points and needs a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. The Euro Cup is now entering the round of 16 with the next fixtures set for Saturday. And you will see Italy face Switzerland and host team Germany squares off against Denmark. In the Football World Junior Championships held right here in Edmonton, right in your backyard, in semifinal number 1, Japan defeated the U.S. by a score of 41-20. And in the second semifinal, Canada came out on top, defeating Austria 27-20. It will be Canada versus Japan for all the marbles. That game goes live from Commonwealth Stadium Sunday at 5 p.m. And Week 4 kicks off tonight in BC, where the 0-3 Elks visit the 2-1 Lions. Join myself and Matty Iwanek for the Green and Gold kickoff show live from Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Coverage starts at 7 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, as well as YouTube. This sports update has been brought to you by the staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. Would he rather be feared or loved? Easy. Both. He wants people to be afraid of how much they love him.
If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Step closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe, to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
There you have it. Edmonton's own brand of erotic rock, Whale and the Wolf, playing us in there. And a little more information on them as well. It is Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne with you. YouTube Trev behind the monitors, taking care of all the audio this morning here on the Nielson Show. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming iHeart, TuneIn radio app, and as well on YouTube as we are changing 114. I love it. If you are on YouTube this morning, hit the like button. I'm not parading that around as much, but we can at least get
Those
up to
are
200,
rookie numbers.
200, 300. It is summer. I get it. I understand. But yeah, I mean, we can do a little better, especially with Dusty away. Let's go. Hit the like, hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel as we inch closer to the 10K. We will be making a call right now, $100,000 swing to win. Trev's going to get a lucky contestant on the line. As mentioned, though, do want to let you know, Whale and the Wolf, a couple of the members having families now. Things get complicated for the old sex, drugs, and rock and roll when you got a couple of babies and taxes to pay and jobs to hold down now. But they will be rocking out, coming to you live again this summer. The Summer Sessions Festival, actually, July 10th out in Stony Plain, Heritage Park. It is a free, so you can get VIP tickets as well for this event. It's kind of like a summer fair out there. Gates open 5:30, show 6:30. So a nice early show. Bring the kids. You can catch, as they say, catch them before your bedtime. Whale and the Wolf Summer Sessions Festival, July 10 out in Stony Plain, Heritage Park. So they won't be playing too much in terms of tours as of late, but I think this summer a few dotted shows, and this will be one of them. Once again, Whale and the Wolf, July 10, Stony Plain, Heritage Park for the Summer Sessions Festival.
No answer.
No answer. Keep calling. Yeah, keep going down the line of whoever qualified yesterday. I mean, you snooze, you lose. I put out the warning. If you qualified yesterday on one of the shows for the $100,000 swing to win, be by your phone now. Trev will be calling you. If you don't pick up, that's on you. We ain't leaving messages. We ain't waiting here. So be by your phone. Trev's going to call somebody right now if you did qualify yesterday, and we will be giving out the next keyword for a chance to qualify and get a call tomorrow for the $100,000 swing to win. Brought to you by Golf Town.
Well, and I will say to Al Fernkin in the nasty chat, I have been to other cities in the world, but I still think Edmonton is one of the most beautiful.
Define beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the right. So
like,
it's all beautiful.
Have you been to Seattle lately? Yeah, sure, it's beautiful. But there's crack whores running every corner of the streets. Come on, you got to think about other things than just, simple raw beauty. I mean, it is a beautiful city, I believe, but I think it's beautiful for other things than just looks. I think there's a beauty to Edmontonians for people that have to live through four seasons. I think that gives you a totally different perspective rather than just living, south of the Mason-Dixie where you're just getting Mason-Dixon, where you're getting
spiders and steak.
Well, you're just getting warm weather. That's okay. That's different. I think there's a lot of spine given to people that live here, which I think is beautiful.
Spine, back. No, I mean it's and city living. It's city living. You gotta if you're living in the city. There's, it's a part of living in the city. You were gabbing with somebody. We got somebody on the line.
We have someone on the line.
Got it booked.
Yep.
What's the name?
His name is Ed.
His name is Ed. Ed, how you doing, man? Congratulations. You are the next contestant in the $100,000 swing to win going down at the ranch, brought to you by Golf Town.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys.
No problem, man. Have you ever shot a hole-in-one in your life?
No, never have.
Are you familiar with hole 17 out at the ranch, 180 yards?
No, never played there.
Okay, but you never played there. You are a golfer. Are you in a league? You take up the twigs on a random weekend with the boys, get a little into one, or like where are you at in terms of levels of professionalism here?
Well, I play pretty much every day.
Okay.
9-hole track out in Vegreville.
Okay. So that's not bad. So you have some experience. It's just 17 at the ranch. You have to do maybe a little bit of homework. Get on the YouTube, watch some videos. 180 yards. What, off the top of your mind, where are you going? What are you using? What are you thinking? How do you approach this one?
180, probably hitting a 5-iron.
Love it.
I like it. That's gonna be an early day for you coming from Vegreville.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might drive up the night before and stay just so we're a little closer.
Well, that's not bad either. Yeah, make a day in the big city.
Maybe play around before.
Why not? Get a little warmed up. You will be contestant what, Trev? He's down on the list. So you will have some time to wait. If you didn't want to leave that morning, you got some time as well. Should a contestant hold it out, the contest will immediately end. All remaining contestants will not be able to take a swing. So, Ed, good luck. You are in the mix, man, albeit lower down the list. But I love your chances. I love your enthusiasm. And we'll see you next week, July 3rd, out at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
Really appreciate it, fellas. Keep up the great work. Love the show.
I love you, Ed. That's a great way to put it there. So take Ed's energy with you throughout the day. Very polite. He's looking forward to it. Not too cocky, but the guy golfs. He knows his way around a course, and he's going to be going out there with one of the 25 and a chance of this thing. As it looms closer, I'm getting a lot more nervous, and I'm not even in the contest.
Can you imagine if somebody does it? I mean, that would be.
Well, you would have to tweet the video, and then it would go viral. Because
I'd have to be. I'm going to be on
touch.
Green with my measuring tape in my white smock. I don't know what you call that. My caddy outfit, I guess.
I will also be getting one of those for the tournament.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe we should go shop together.
Busy this afternoon?
Not for you. There was a lot of love flowing around here, and we're going to keep it that way.
I think Marie McCourt from the Ranch Golf and Country Club also said closest to the pin, we'll be getting a little monetary gift.
$1,000.
Not too bad. Not too bad. So it's not just like, I don't get the hole. Walking away with nothing. Still something to play for, and the closest to the pin. So $1,000. But again, you're coming after that big prize, the $100,000. Golf Town, check them out today, golftown.com. Hockey is now over, if you didn't know, at least on the ice. The Flames have been on the course for some time here, as they say, but you can unwind from the high energy of the playoffs and enjoy the physical and mental benefits of golf. It really relaxes you out on the course, hey? I mean, that's the time to kind of not get too stressed out. Most people that go golfing don't get stressed out most of the time, hey?
Oh, yeah. They're always just the look of complete irrational thinking.
So enjoyable. I love my golfing. Oh, we're going to go to the course. It's going to be great. And then they come back, and they're like, oh, bitching and complaining about it's too hot. It's all this. But again, take the stresses from this Oilers Cup run and get your stress on the greens or the fairways or whatever this season. But get it done from Golftown, golftown.com. Go in there, see what they've got for you. Excellent staff, excellent service. And we appreciate their help on the $100,000 swing to win. Keyword time. We got it right now, and we're going to put it up on the screen. You can text it in 780-218-9999, and you'll get it in the mix. We might be calling you tomorrow for the next chance to get in on the $100,000 swing to win. So today's word, you can text in once again, 780-218-9999. Goosen. Goosen is the word.
As in Retief?
Retief Goosen. And there we are for you. The South African Retief Goosen.
Not like you be goosing somebody.
Do
you know what that means, YTT? To be goosed? I bet you do.
Please go on for all of our listeners and viewers in great detail. Please share it. Please share it, Jay.
It's when you'd like grab a stick off the ground or a twig and you'd go up behind your buddy and stick it up his ass. You've been goosed.
And it can be even, you can use your hand. Hey,
you can use your fingers.
It's been done if you want, but a stick or a twig is usually or some sort of building material, I guess. A ball retriever in this case. Hey,
yes.
Long range goosing.
You can use any implement to goose someone.
Have you ever goosed someone or been goosed?
It's happened.
From
It's
time
happened
to time.
both ways.
Almost like a rite of passage in a sense.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
You live to tell the tale.
I lived. I'm still here.
Do you prefer the stick or the hand? Both giving and receiving.
A good thumb's okay.
A strong thumb. Yeah.
Thumb.
The width of the.
Yeah, just fits in there better. Really gets the job done.
Trust the old thumb, hey?
Thank God.
A job like that.
Kids are off school, so they're sleeping in anyways today.
It's Edmonton Sports Talk, baby. We don't have the corporate umbrella as 742. We will get into now That Hurts. And I know, Jay, you've been... Well, we got one from yesterday. As you were on the call, the Football World Juniors here in the city, and we had some semifinal action leading up to the final, which will be going down Sunday. But that hurts, and it's brought to you by the great people, SB LLP Injury Lawyers. Albertans suffer personal injuries, whether that's from a goosing or not. Accidents every single day. But some of you are too overwhelmed to seek the legal advice you need. Hey, I got injured with a goosing incident. You can't tell that to just anybody. SBLLP don't care. They'll take your case. www.sb-llp.com. Click on personal injury or give them a call, 780-438-5281. No need to feel shame from your goosing. Let SBLLP handle the claim.
And why don't you goose that thumbs up button?
Well, why not? Hey, now that we're on that...
Jimbo came in strong, thumbs up.
I think Trev's finding his fifth and final take for this morning in some form or fashion with
this. Yes, you've been goosed.
So once again, text Goosen, Goosen, 780-218-9999. But that hurts, Jay?
Well, yeah, so that does hurt. And I'll tell you, it's not what you think I'm going to say because, okay, let's set it up here. Number 3 in the world, Japan, was facing off against number 2, USA. Japan won 41-20. Now, this is the U20 World Football Championships, similar to the World Junior Championships in hockey. It's where you bring your best and you come and play all together. Now, I must say, calling this game as I was doing color commentary provided some challenges with the Japanese team.
Yeah.
But I think I did pretty good. I mean, Taisei Arushabara went off. He rushed for 200. Well, no, Arushabara and Takemi Morobe combined for 275 yards and 4 TDs
on the ground.
Yeah, say those names
against the American. All this is happening against the United States football team.
Now, the United States football team, which was head coached by Mike Kelly.
Yes.
Why do you recognize that name? Well, not only was he the OC in Winnipeg from 92 to 96. Where him and Matt Dunnigan set 29 franchise records back in the glory days of the Bombers. I'm sure Dean Belanger would be happy with that.
3, 2, 1, yeah.
He was also the former Washington Redskins pro scout, and he won 2 NFC championships with Philadelphia as an assistant to Andy Reid.
Been around the block.
So this guy knows football. Now, what hurts for me? This is what hurts. It's not that score, but the backlash that Team USA is getting right now is massive. I mean, RG3 retweeted or tweeted out a highlight package from that game. Showing, he said, video evidence of Japan kicking the snot out of the American national team in American football. Okay, here's the issue. You know what hurts? They didn't bring any of the top players in the USA. You know why? The top 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds that are in the USA playing football are already at Clemson and Georgia and LSU and Notre Dame and Wisconsin and Ohio State. They're already there doing spring practice, spring ball.
It never ends.
It never ends. And they're not releasing those guys to come to a tournament in Edmonton to face Japan. So that hurts for the look of USA football. If USA football brought 10% of the top recruits that are in that age bracket, they would have beat Japan 150 to nothing.
But we always hear that they're so littered, like football players down there and the amount of colleges and the guys that you would think that there would still be just enough for this type of tournament to get past, just because it is there. I mean, yeah, you talk baseball, whatever. Football is it down there, especially this 4-down game that they're playing down at Commonwealth. I just find I hear you, but it still doesn't translate to me.
Well, Eric, forgive me. YTT, forgive me. Credit's due where it's due. Japan came out and ran the ball down their throats. And we talked about it in the pregame. I called the game with Dave Dawson, great analyst, and we said, look, if Japan can run the ball successfully, they're gonna blow out the USA team. I mean, it's hard to say, and keep in mind, USA had 32 players on its roster. Japan had 65.
Well, okay, so 2 teams against 1, basically.
Well, yeah.
If everybody knows how to play Iron Man in football, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. I will never rest easy knowing that the USA falls to Japan in a football game, regardless of and again, it's nice to know these things because I think a casual viewer probably wouldn't. Again, as you say, this is the exercise. You see it
look
online.
at the score and you say
RG3 shows it, and it's like, what the hell?
But what happened? And it kind of has been going viral in the U.S. saying, there's a lot of freaked out Americans wondering what's happened with their men's national program.
This is the start of the collapse. They found the thread and they're going to start pulling it. But again, it's not like Hockey Canada. We had that forensic audit. The World Juniors. There was a bit of a slump there, and it was like, oh my God, we have to come together as a nation to solve this problem. I don't think it really goes there, but it's still something that makes people sit up in their chair a bit.
Now, I'm no history major, but I am a history minor, and I do believe there is a history between Japan and USA.
You are A minor.
A minor.
Yes.
But
there is a bit, yes, and that's sports sometimes likes to rear its ugly head in those fashions as well, with a few historical footnotes involved. So Japan taking care of the USA, Canada as well, though. And you mentioned USA ranked number 2 in the world heading into this one.
Canada 1 was ranked number 1.
And so we'll be in the final up against Japan.
Against Japan, yeah.
Sunday, 5 o'clock, you said Commonwealth?
Yeah, it's going to be great football. I actually think I think Japan's going to win.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
A little 4-down action on Commonwealth, so check it out. Championship game, number 1 in the world, Canada taking on Japan, Sunday, 5 o'clock down at Commonwealth. That's what hurts. And look, again, I don't know how this happens. Robert Griffin III tweeting out the video, but you're on the color. You are around these viral tweets all the time, whether you're involved in the audio, the visual, you initiating the tweet or whatever.
You know
I
what?
love it.
Like RG3, as you know,
guys are DMing.
back when they were the Redskins, was my guy, my quarterback.
makes
I'm
sense
still
too,
a Commanders
yeah.
fan now,
Okay.
but I always give credit to a name that was there. So you're always just get used to it if you don't like it.
What could have been? Hey,
but hey man, he was very electric and almost a bit of a hero. I have a signed RG3 helmet in my basement. So to have him tweet out a video that is going viral, and I'm the color guy. You should watch it. It's actually kind of funny.
It's like me going to U of S Husky football games in Saskatoon years back and seeing your name on the program and saying, he's got the same last name as my childhood friend. And now here we are doing a show.
That's right.
These things in life,
Isn't that weird?
they blow you away and
It's a true story.
You never really kind of get over it. It still boggles my mind. Gage too. I mean, my brother and I grew up imitating him on the driveway. He was the goalie, not Ed Belt, not any of the other. Take your pick of all the fun masks and everything. No, we wanted to be Gage for some strange reason. And here he'll be tipping beer with me tomorrow morning.
It's funny how the stars align, hey?
Nuts. That hurts. SB-LLP. Check them out today if you have any legal issues. Let's get into some I Got Beef here as well, brought to you by Corey the Butcher and Acme Meats. Check them out today. I've been off. Well, I went down there. I went to see Corey. And Corey, this thing we get with Corey and Acme Meats is he's a local guy. They've been serving the city for over 100 years, so he's got some cachet about him. But you go in there, I said, Corey, I have some other things to do, but I want to buy a lot of meat. It's a hot day. He said, no problem, Eric, here is a portable cooler. So you take the cooler, then you, and I know what you're doing, Corey, you give him the cooler, so now I got to, you come back. It's one of those things, Costanza, you're leaving the thing. So I returned the cooler the other day for Corey, and I had to, of course, get more European wieners, as I've been eating the hot dogs, the wieners, as you do during the summer months. But check them out today. Got some good steaks as well, some nice barbecue sauce, homemade, but eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Acme Meats, once again, serving Edmonton and area for over 100 years. 9570 75th Avenue. It's that Ritchie Market area, just southeast of White Ave. Nice little place too, cafe, bar in there and everything.
76th Ave, just west of east of 99th Street.
Yeah. It's right perfect. By, yeah. I love that whole area. The bar in there, you can really make an afternoon out of it. But Corey's got some nice meats.
It's a good, nice ice cream spot down there too.
The ice cream and everything. And again, he's selling some shirts, rubs, barbecue sauce, and everything like that. But I got beef. If you got beef this morning, 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. I know a lot of people got beef with, as is tradition, once the Oilers season ends, however it does, it's, hey, I'm out of here, there's no hockey to talk about. We will be talking hockey. I do got a bit of a beef with that, though. The name on the sign says Edmonton Sports Talk.
Are you sure it doesn't say Edmonton Hockey Talk?
SPORTS. That's how you spell it, Sports Talk. And there's a lot to discuss right now. The Riverhawks are on a flyer. Prospects are playing. Elks, yes, we know the record, but they're playing some very attractive football right now. So I usually have a beef, and I'm not going to go too hard, but I just roll with us here. We're not even at a year. You know what it was like at the old place. We had to, go here and do this and do that and take care of this. This is the dawning of a new day. Edmonton Sports Talk. It is our first off-season. What off-season? So give it a shot. Give it a try. If you didn't like it at the old place, going off on the summer. And again, off-seasons at the old place were a lot longer than they'll be this off-season. So stick around. Yes, we'll be talking some other things as we will because they are... SPO. Is this even in frame? I'm out of frame. Nobody knows what I'm doing.
Go over that one.
SPORTS Sports Talk. So we'll be doing a lot of things, both local, nationally, internationally. You mentioned the Paris Olympiad. That'll be happening. We've got 2 great soccer tournaments. I know soccer earmuffs everybody. That's the last I'll mention of it. But Canada, Chile, Saturday should be great. Hopefully the weather's nice. Grab a seat on a patio. Riverhawks as well. That season comes and goes very quick. Hopefully they can get some playoff action. We get a little bit of it oozing into August, but we're approaching the end of June. You got July, and that's it. So soak this stuff up because you're going to be sitting around. It's going to be mid-January. You're going to have Oilers hockey to talk about. You're going to be like, I just wish I was at the Riverhawks game on a sunny, hot day, or I wish I was at Commonwealth, or I had the tailgater. It happens. Winters are long, and we got hockey to kind of pacify us through. But it's summer. Soak it up, baby. And ride with us while you're doing it because we're going to have a lot of fun things here from EST. Not to mention the golf tournament coming up, to which we haven't been able to have for a few years. The $100,000 swing to win, which is taking place actually on a hole instead of the driving range. So, I got beef with a lot of that attitude. Not calling anybody out this morning. But we'll get you through the Oilers together. We won't stop talking about them, but there's a cornucopia of other sports to discuss both here at home and around the globe. So I got beef. I get it. You're an Oilers madman or madwoman through and through, but this isn't some sort of purity test where you can only watch that, consume that, and plug your ears and close your eyes for the rest. You can enjoy other things too. Nobody's going to take your Oilers fandom away from you or notch you down on the list in terms of hierarchy. So that's my beef. And I'll leave it at that. Gentlemen, Anything else?
I got beef, and it's cost us dearly. And
Money?
This might dovetail into the EST Farm Report. Hashtag EST Farm Report.
You're on Twitter at Jason Milne. You had some tweets with the hashtag involving some quads.
Yeah, we did some spraying.
Spraying,
and then we did some harrowing. It was beautiful. If you've never harrowed, it is such a soothing thing to do.
Do you do that before or after the goosing? Is it goosing first, then harrowing, or harrowing?
Oh, always after. Goosing first, then you harrow.
Get you going.
Get you going. No, we've got a fox.
You got a fox?
We've got a fox problem.
Okay, because now when somebody says you saw my demeanor. Oh, fox.
Oh, fox. Cool.
Hey,
Great.
Cute. You said problem.
So 2 of our ducks went missing. And I know who did it now. Hey, let me listen. Let me have your attention, Mr. Fox. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you hard. I'm gonna goose you.
Man, this is Animal Farm. Well, this is quite the compound here. So do you know?
Remember I had a visual this morning on him leaving my driveway at 4:57. And here I come out, and here's this fox going away. So we're gonna have to.
You've seen now.
It's confirmed. So my mother-in-law, I text her and I said, "Hey, when you're up, can you go look at and check on the ducks?" So usually they stay in the pond, and they're somewhat insulated there because fox don't really like to get wet. Neither do coyotes.
Sure.
But maybe they were nesting or trying to sit on some eggs and got nabbed, I think. But having the visual confirms your thoughts and beliefs. So now I think we're going to have to start taking them back in and locking them up in their call it a
once you get the
hen
visual,
shack or
once
a
you
duck
get
shack.
that visual though, hey, like that's damning for the fox. You can kind of do your things, steal a couple of chicks here under the darkness of the moonlight, but once
it's just
once the farm man sees you,
I believe it was a movie.
Time's ticking.
I think the name of it was called Lion King. I think it was a hit, but they called it The Circle of Life. And unfortunately, predator and prey sometimes meet. And it is what it is. It is the circle of life. We believe in the circle of life out our direction.
You have to.
You have to.
You have to. I just went through this myself with my my hen and her 7.
Yes.
10,
you sent me
12 hours and they were gone.
Well, they move fast.
That's what I hear, but I felt my yard was nicely insulated. I had a pool going. I had it all going. I brought 2 bags of frozen peas. Do you want a bag of frozen peas, Trev? On that note, like I don't know what these frozen peas, but I just it happened and then they're gone. And I actually saved one. The hen was out in the backyard screaming that afternoon. And my wife, she says the duck's going nuts back there, and I only see 6 out of the 7 hatchlings. Ducklings. So I said, well, there must be a problem. I go to the side of the house. Sure as hell, one of the ducklings has a tomato cage pinched right on the webbing of the foot. Can't get out. It's screaming. It's shitting all over the place. Like when they get, I never knew this about ducks. When they get like nervous, they just crap their pants.
Yeah, they poop everywhere.
They just crap everywhere. So I'm like, oh, this thing's stuck. So I have to go past the mom. She's sitting there squawking at me and crapping. I go back. I lift up the cage and the little. And then it runs so fast it falls. Like they're very. The mom was stepping on them, like stepping on their heads, like they're very elasticity, like they don't have a lot of. They can jump off buildings and whatever. So I learned a lot in this 12 hours. But I rescued the duckling. She gets back in the brood in the fold. They do their parade around the yard, and she's stretching their legs. I guess is what they were doing. But then the next morning, boom, they're gone. And here I was buying frozen peas. My wife named them all. I mean, we had this. We were filing papers for adoption. Like I was like, let's go. This is my summer here.
Well, maybe that's why they. Maybe that's why they left. They felt as if you had trapped one of the ducklings accidentally or something. I'm not sure.
It could have been. I mean, I tried to communicate that I'm here to help. I wanted to be a help, but. No, that's fine. I bid them adieu. But again, as you say, the circle of life. I don't know where they go. They need to find water. I'm nowhere near. I mean, good luck in crossing the white mud. I don't think the hen knows where the pedway is, but I wish her well. So you don't know what happens, but that's all you get. A wing and a prayer, hey? Pun intended.
Pun intended. The wrench, Tommy Gazzola is in the nasty chat, coming in hard, as he always does.
Very hard.
Milne's nemesis. This is interesting.
Well, I look forward
it's
to
a fox.
Yeah.
It's a picture of a Fox.
Well, what are you going to do? What's the game plan? You've seen him this morning. You know what's
I
going on.
almost jumped to the screen.
Are you setting traps? Will we be baiting, or are you just going to go out with a pop gun and see what you can do? Are you gonna have the pelt? Like, are you just gonna?
No, we're gonna have to trap it.
Trap it.
Yeah.
And then release like a
Yeah, something like
Like,
that.
are you going to try to send a message?
Maybe.
Maybe a poll in a head and a message to the others, hey, that type of thing?
This fox has been around for a while, so I don't know. I don't know. If you have any advice, let me know.
Trev, any beef?
This might be sorry to interrupt. This might be the text of the day. As of right now, I'm actually going to mark it down because
Is it the Colin Campbell text?
No, it's Rams fan. He says, Jay, as long as you didn't text your mother-in-law that she's a fox.
The terminology in this episode, can get a little confusing.
Hey, if this gets AI generated,
Foxing,
I
goosing, the whole
be in
bit.
trouble.
Well, yeah. Anything bothering you, Trev? Like, do you have beef? I know we all know that you've had a beef here over since Monday.
Pretty tough few days.
But all things considered.
Yep. It's water under the fridge,
Yeah.
Life goes on. And
Did you say water under the fridge?
yeah, I think...
a Freon leak.
Yeah, I think I heard that on Trailer Park Boys.
Well, they have that pan that collects if you move sometimes.
Yes.
And so, it's the way she goes, That's my beef. I guess, like, people know that I'm, if...
You ride and die,
I'm
baby.
a little bit of a diehard, but I guess just some friends ripping me apart. That wasn't nice, so I got beef with my friends. Just like,
Oilers fans?
why? No.
makes
They're
sense then,
from
I guess.
back home, just Flames fans, just being a-holes.
I
And
always
it
heard
hurts.
the teams that aren't even near a sniff coming at you for losing a game 7.
Yeah. Yeah, and even with... No, I could go on and on.
Yes, please.
It's there's just so much, like with the way they lost, and just with what Matthew Tkachuk had to say. I have beef with that. Like, you up and leave the town, and you say you have fans back in Calgary. No one's rooting for you, man. And then Eric Francis was saying this is gold. Like, oh, come on, like, get out of here, buddy. I got beef with him. I always have. I don't like him, and so I don't know. I got beef with just the way just afterwards, the fact that everyone was kind of rooting for him, and then a lot of people just jump ship and be like, but it's it's all good. It's all good. I'm fine.
You do know you have to put on a bit of the hazmat suit afterwards,
Yep.
and people come out of the woodwork. All these teams that we haven't uttered for months on end are now, oh, look at you loser, losing Game 7 of the Cup final. You take it. You remember it. But I don't think we can. I don't think we need to give them too much time and oxygen. You now don't have any friends from back home. Is that kind of what we're?
No. I haven't talked to anyone.
Well,
I haven't
good.
talked to
Screw them.
my folks. I've been very
You're
quiet.
shutting
the
out your
last few
folks?
days. Well, no, they're just.
They brought you into this world, young man.
Yeah, I know. I get like this. I don't talk a lot. When the Oilers got swept by the Jets, my dad said that he was born in Winnipeg, so I didn't talk to him for like a month afterwards, and so
Come on.
I just no, serious.
Dude, there's no. I will not tolerate this kind of talk from you.
Well,
there's bigger things in life than sports. It's your parents, for God's sake.
Well, I know, but now they're just checking in on me, like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah,
And
you
I just
think?
have
We've all broken character.
Are you surprised?
yeah,
They love you.
yeah.
They love you. They want to hear from you. Give them a chance.
I'll reach out to them today. I'm starting to come around and talk to more people, so that's good.
Good. That's good for the soul.
We'll do it together.
It heals all wounds.
Time, yes. Here's one, and just before we break here, Dave in Section T. Hi, Jay. Hey, LTE. School's out after today, so I have more flexibility in my schedule. If you have a mama fox to get rid of, she's likely feeding Lillans. They will have to go too. Send the girl shopping with the missus, and I'll help you out if required. So, Jay, you do have some people that are willing to, I don't know if it's by the hour, but a little bit of help if needed.
Yeah, and that is a concern because I know that they do usually den right in the middle of our neighborhood in our subdivision. So we have let me just say this. I have a motivated neighbor that may have border said den. So yes, one goes, they all gotta go. But that's
Circle of life.
That's just how it works.
Circle of life comes and goes. And CB Radio Guy, Trev, those are the winds of shit, Trev, the winds of shit. That Tkachuk is a mustard tiger if I've ever seen one. So keeping with the Trailer Park Boys theme there, CB Radio guys got your back. That's I Got Beef. Once again, Corey the Butcher, Acme Meats. Great guy. He's all tatted up. You can go even and talk about his tattoos if you want. I'm sure he'd love to entertain you with that. But go down, get some fresh, local beef, meat, chicken, the whole bit. Acme Meats, serving Edmonton for over 100 years, 9570 76th Avenue, on Twitter at Acme Meat Market, and you can follow Corey at Corey the Butcher. Let's get into the third hour here. We got a lot to do still. Kind of easy trivia on the way. You know how we do with that. If you want to play, $25 to Mr. Mike's is on the line. Very, very simple. Very, very simple way to get a $25 GC to an outstanding local food bar. They got the 6 o'clock lager on tap. So if you want to play, text in 780-218-9999. I want to play.
Can I just say, be aware of CFL stuff.
Now he's even giving you paths. So
if you're not a CFL person, don't even bother.
CFL heavy.
It's not hard, but just please help yourself.
You need 3 out of 5 for crying out loud. I mean, $25 to Mr. Mike's. Text in, I want to play trivia. YouTube Trev will pick one of you. And once again, Jay will be asking the questions. You'll be answering them. And we'll be sending you off $25 richer in Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many as well on the way. Scalding Hot Takes will be taking place. The potholder is on the line. It is the in-season tournament. All of that up ahead of the wrap coming up as well. But first, a sports update. Jay Milne.
The NFL Draft goes Friday from the Sphere in Vegas, where the San Jose Sharks are expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini with the first overall pick. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. And the Riverhawks played host to the Bellingham Bells, where they were on the losing end, unfortunately, falling 8-4. Game 3 of the 3-game set goes tonight from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps. The Jays kick off a 4-game set against the AL leading Yankees. First pitch from Toronto goes at 5:07. And Canadian Zach Edey is now a Memphis Grizzly, as he was taken 9th overall in the NBA draft. European player Zachary Rizache was selected first overall by the Atlanta Hawks. Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points and needs a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round of the Copa America Cup. And in the Euro Cup, it's now entering the round of 16, with the next fixture set for Saturday, which will have Italy face Switzerland and host team Germany square off against Denmark. And in the Football World Junior Championships being held right here in the beautiful city of Edmonton, in semifinal number 1, Japan defeated the USA by a score of 41-20. And in the second semifinal, Canada comes out on top, defeating Austria 27-20. It will be Canada versus Japan for all the marbles. Game goes from Commonwealth Stadium Sunday at 5. And the CFL Week 4 kicks off tonight in BC, where the 0-3 Elks visit the 2-1 Lions. Join myself and Matty Iwanek for the Green and Gold kickoff show live from Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Coverage starts at 7 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn radio apps, as well as on YouTube. This sports update has been brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Baseball bat, a man with a tendency to overreact out of control. Oh, and so it goes. The kid with the promise, with the friends with the tats, hopped in a car, now past the scalpel, stat 6 feet below. Oh, and so it
8:09, you are tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric Jason Milne in for Dustin Nielson this morning. Nielson has the call tonight. Elks and Lions, 8 o'clock out in Vancouver, kicking off Week 4 in the Canadian Football League. And, of course, Jay Milne will be by later this evening. 7 o'clock is the time that the Green and Gold pregame show, kickoff show, gets going on right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart, TuneIn radio apps, and on YouTube. Jay will be with Matt Iwanek out at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Great game day deals there in terms of food and drink. So go down. If you don't have plans for the game tonight, join the boys down there or tune in once again here at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. They'll set you up for it.
I believe they call that going tip to tail in the industry.
You tip to tail, tip to bookend, whatever the case. You'll be
tip
tap
to
dancing.
foxtail.
And then you're back tomorrow, too, for your regular, hangout Friday.
Yeah, I'm living here, baby.
Recapping the game. I do believe Paul Sir, actually, on the hangout today, will be by briefly for a touch and a recap of last night's NBA draft.
He does a great job on the Stingers broadcast as well.
Yeah, Paul is
He's
very,
a very
smart, articulate,
astute basketball mind.
Just being in a room with him, not even talking basketball, but just, again, the old, have him read the phone book. I'll listen to him read the phone book. I'll remember the phone book.
You feel smarter.
He'll teach you things about the phone book you never knew. But Paul Sir.
LTE, I'm going to ask you for a favor.
What?
I'm going to ask you for a favor. No, I'm just going to ask you. You got my. Okay.
Oh, no, I was going to give you. You need a.
Oh, okay. Here. You tell me. I'm asking for a late conch.
Oh, you ask the man over there today.
YTT?
Trev's got the.
Club
the
beat
shell.
loop conch. Yay or nay? Now I'll give you the background story, but you got to give me the yay or nay first.
I suppose I'll let it slide.
Okay. AM Nasty T-Buds. You know T-Buds.
Yes.
He's checked. So this is a fascinating story. He recently got married. He was the guy that texted into the show with the 2-6 of Birdie Booze and 6 o'clock lager at his wedding. Well, guess what they did after for their honeymoon? Him and his wife, his new wife, and their pups decided to drive across Canada for their honeymoon. Isn't that awesome? Like go do it on their own.
That's pretty cool.
So he sent a picture in this morning to the inbox. T-Buds checking in here from Terrace Bay, Ontario, on my way to Sudbury today, making my way from coast to coast with Mrs. T-Buds and the pups. Munching some serious data. Is it too late for a conch? T-Buds, this one's for you. I mean, that is exceptional. That's something I've always wanted to do. Is we live in a very beautiful country, and when you think of traveling, where do you think, okay, I'm going to go to Cancun, or I'm going to go to Jamaica, or whatever, or Paris. Go to the East Coast. Like I haven't done it, but I've heard wonderful things about it. I've been to the West Coast. I'm sure a lot of people in Alberta have, but man, there's just such landscape across Canada that I've always wanted to maybe fly into like Montreal and then drive up the St. Lawrence on my way out to Newfoundland and do the East Coast that way. If anybody has any tips for that, I'm all in on it. I'm all ears. Oh, Judge Gage is in.
Judge is in the house.
Presiding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Locked out with his motorcade there. But did the guy do trivia? Or did we win trivia?
We didn't even do it yet. We're waiting for you.
Thank you very much for that. We do have somebody anxiously waiting on the line. Want to let you know as well. Nielson Show brought to you by Southford Chevrolet. Check them out today, www.southfordchev.com. Go see Daniel. Ask for Daniel. Tell him the team at EST sent you. Tell him Zach sent you. I like that. I like the idea of people telling Zach sends them all these places, and Zach will get the bonus here or whatever it is. But Southford Chev, 15% off accessories for your new ride right now. So get on down there. Southford Chev out in Fort Sask, or www.southfordchev as well. They are the presenting sponsor of the Nielson Show. And who we got on the line today for kind of easy trivia?
We've got Neighbor Danny.
Neighbor Danny?
Neighbor Danny on the line.
Okay, haven't heard this handled before, but Neighbor Danny will be playing for Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn. Corner 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. They got the 6 o'clocker lager on tap. Pull up, have a seat at the Wood. Great place to spend an afternoon. Tell you that much. But $25 on the line to Mr. Mike's right now. And we bring in Neighbor Danny. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Can't complain, man. Thanks for asking. Have you played before?
No, never.
Okay, perfect. So all you need to do is 3 out of 5. Jason Milne will be asking the questions as he prefaced CFL Heavy this morning. So if you don't know something, just say pass. You'll go on to the next one. You need 3 of 5. Should be easy. We want to get you there. Trev will start the ticker after Jay reads the first question. Are you ready, sir?
I'll do my best. Thanks.
Let's go.
Neighbor Danny, nice to have you. I hope you don't have a Fox issue as well. Question number 1. Question number 1. Do the Elks play tonight?
Yes.
Who is the Elks head coach?
Pass.
How many teams are in the CFL?
9.
How many downs are there in the CFL?
3.
Are our balls bigger?
Yes.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are? I am. Get it right.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Neighbor Danny is off to Mr. Mike's. Surveyor Brett trailing along in the nasty chat as well. He would have gotten 5 out of 5. I love it. But neighbor Danny, he is off again to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. $25 richer than that. So we look forward to neighbor Danny coming down here and collecting that $25 GC and enjoying a nice lunch, supper, whatever he chooses out at Mr. Mike's.
Oh, praise report. Do we still have 3 ducks left? Breaking news.
You got 3 left.
Still have 3.
And what was the original count?
We lost 2 in the
two?
last
Well,
week.
okay, but
there's 2 moms and a dad there, so
as long as there's something to kind of keep hold of, hey, like
keep the hope, keep the dream alive.
The rookie chimes in the Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. Aren't the balls the same size now?
Yeah, well,
on cue. But
unbeknownst to me, yeah, I guess so.
Unconfirmed as well. I always hear this now because it goes back to the radically Canadian days of our fields are bigger and our balls are bigger and all that. But I do think there was some sort of change. I think they're still slightly bigger, but it's not like that.
I think the center, what would you call that? The circumference of the biggest point of the ball is 100% bigger in the CFL than it is in the NFL. The NFL is more of a torpedo-shaped ball, where the CFL ball has much more rounding to it. At least, hey man, the rookie, if I'm wrong, I might just go home.
This is one of those things though that's not confirmed, and some quarterbacks do state that they notice a size difference. Maybe this is a hand thing as well for some of them.
Fox is in the nasty chat still. It's coming for me.
Milne's nemesis chiming in.
Fox
It's funny. Matt Kachuk disappears, and now we have Milne's nemesis in the in the chat. I wonder if there's any connection. Fox, rat, fox. I don't know. 780-218-9999. Once again, if you missed out on kind of easy trivia, still a chance to win this morning via the text of the day. It's for A&W. 2 A&W Mama Burgers, $9.99 right now. We got $20 to A&W, so do the math on that one, and you could set yourself up for a pretty nice day. Get those texts in 780-218-9999 Paris Jewelers inbox.
Speaking of the PJ inbox, Dave the Welder, he said, I'm heading to the East Coast tomorrow morning with the fam damly. School's out. Parentheses, shout out to the Ardrossan Elementary and the barbecue fun day yesterday. Half day of work left today, and we are eastbound and down. First vacation I'll ever been on that doesn't involve something to do with cow showing, cow touring, or some sort of farm event. Dave the Welder, kudos.
It's nice to live vicariously through these people with children because I'm not doing this. School, again, you're a father. School's out. This is a turning of the page time for you people, and you can go on these vacations now, these cross country treks. So if you are traveling or doing, or hell, if you want to give a shout out to the teachers, the school that took care of your children, whatever, let us know. We'd be glad to pass that along. But I do love the old summer roadies from some of the nasties and taking EST with you on the road.
Well, and my daughters attend that School or Drawson Elementary, and kudos to them. They do an awesome year-end barbecue. I was calling that football game yesterday. Otherwise, I would have been there volunteering, trying to do my best Gager impersonation and slinging wieners and making all the kids' dreams come true. Yeah. Big water fight yesterday. Huge. That's what they do. Yeah.
They're talking.
No, it was legendary.
And the Nasty Chat's buzzing as well about the balls, CFL balls. CFL 24 balls look bigger from Abutski. Abutski also says the J5V was a big balloon. And now we're kind of getting into the the nuts and bolts of all that and the branding.
Big Slam Nasty says NFL balls are yours, and the CFL balls are the guy she told you not to worry about.
Text that in. Was that texted in?
It
Is
was.
That nasty?
I
think we got a clubhouse leader here right now for
clubhouse
text
leader.
today. Let's write that one down. We sashay into 3 questions too many, brought to you as always by the great staff at Park Mazda, including dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, where again the hockey season has ended, but his season is not. They are not taking time off. They're not taking free agency time off. None of that. Go down and see Park Mazda today, or check them out online, parkmazda.ca. Park Mazda, your dealer for life, out in Sherwood Park. Mitch and the gang can get you where you need to go. And if you are looking at some sort of fan-damly summer road trip, maybe Park Mazda is the place to start. So check them out today. Tell Mitch EST sent you. First off, I'd like to give you 2 gentlemen the opportunity to share with us your social media places where people can find you and digest your work. Jason Milne, please.
At Jason Milne, JASONMILNE. Hashtag EST Farm Report. Hashtag FU Fox.
Get that one rolling here on Twitter, maybe Instagram as well. You got to get this thing going. I want an episode of piece by piece, tweet by tweet action of you getting your weaponry and then getting onto the hunt. Will you dress up in one of those, like you get on horse, the red jacket, you get the bugle out, and you all go for a
bugle and a beagle.
fox hunt. Yeah.
And we really do it. Yeah, Fox and the Hound.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
I got a hound. I got a little corgi. He kind of fits the bill.
Who's keeping score? Hey,
who's keeping score? Let's
Trev?
get the dang thing.
You can follow me on Twitter at YouTube_Trev, where I post once.
Sad.
You are popping up now in the search. I'll
every
search
2
on
weeks.
YouTube and you pop right up to the top.
Sad things. Oh,
Usually
yeah.
you couldn't find you at all. Like
And,
it was like a shadow ban.
I have a dickens of a time finding myself.
And just so you know, he did pop into the nasty chat there. I saw it. I know you tried sneaking that by.
Who? Trev?
Trev.
What are you getting on in there?
Above average. Above average.
Oh,
He said Surveyor Brett knows what's up.
Yep, he does.
Using the old.
Well, there was a nasty rumor going around that Trev would cry in the press box if he ever got there. Well, newsflash, Trev has been to the press box.
Been there, done that.
And confirmed, did not cry.
Did not cry, did not show any emotions. I was a pro, and Tommy can, he can confirm that.
You didn't even say hi to anybody.
Barely.
Like you just stood there, solemn faced. You didn't want to
it was nothing. Stone face, man.
Poker face the whole night. I like Tommy taking you to the thing your first time.
I was like, hello.
And you're trying not to show emotion so much that you don't show any at all to anybody. I really like that. Take me there. If you have any questions as well, I always like when Dustin's away, we get a chance, Jay Milne on the show, and Trev, we can open a bit. So if you have any questions for these two, you know enough about me, I think, over the years, so we don't need to go there. But if you have any questions specifically for Jay or YTT here, get them in 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat as well. Question 1, though, boys, that I have for you and the listeners and viewers out there. The Oilers, UFAs. I'm going to go over them right now. Corey Perry, Sam Gagner, Adam Henrique, Sam Carrick, Connor Brown, Adam Ernie, Matthias Janmark, Warren Fogle. You get to keep 1.
Say the names again.
Corey Perry, Sam... I'm going to say their name and their age. Corey Perry, 39. Sam Gagner, 34. Adam Henrique, 34. Sam Carrick, 32. Connor Brown, 30. Adam Feel the Ernie, 29. Matthias Janmark, 31. And Warren Fogle, 28.
Oh, that's tough, but I'm leaning leaning Fogle.
Okay.
Myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the question is kind of spurred out of the fact that everybody wants to bring back line 3, which, again, I think we can all come together and agree on. But out of those 3, I guess, I use Perry. I mean, these are kind of throwaway names, but Trev, again, I kind of maybe zeroing in on that third line. Who sticks out, and who's that player you need to bring back?
That one's tricky because, as we've seen, like this year, I've really put a lot of stock in, players may have good regular seasons, but kind of what it all comes down to is the postseason and playoffs. And Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark, and Adam Henrique, I'd say, had pretty solid playoffs. Warren Fogle, not so much. Obviously, I'd take Warren Fogle for his regular season play. I think, but I don't know if the Oilers can. He might be chasing a little bit more than the Oilers can afford. So I'm going to go with Connor Brown redemption tour.
I like that because I think too, in the season the regular season he had, coming off the injury. Sports, you can have excuses and you can have reasons. And I don't like using excuses so many times as you can use a reason. And I think you're coming off an injury such as that he had. It takes time you talk to players, you talk to him for crying out loud. It takes some time to trust your body again, get to where you need to be and become the player you were. And I think sometimes the playoffs give you a lot of shadows of guys, right? You're kind of, you're shown something that you haven't seen before and you won't see again. But I think Connor Brown was feeling it here, and I think the Connor Brown and we joked to start the season, right? Oh, he's probably gonna, the Oilers will make it back, and they did, and he did, and here he is. I like the Brown shout, and I do like it because it's another year removed from that injury, and I don't think this playoff performance from him was more mirage than anything. I think it was kind of more real.
We got a visual.
Hen and duck, male, male and female. And 4 ducklings? 3?
Not yet. They're laying. So it's the eggs are still there. So we're good.
Hashtag EST Farm Report.
Now, it's what Connor Brown are you getting? You're taking playoff Connor Brown. And obviously you're, Adam Henrique, we got a small sample size, so it's hard to say what that looks like over the year. I get that Warren Fogle wasn't really producing in the playoffs. But I feel he was the most consistent out of the Oilers that you mentioned that were Oilers for the whole year. He was the most consistent in the regular season in terms of effort and quality of play. But that's why I said
And that's fair. As far as potential goes, I still think you get a little bit more in Warren Fogle. I feel like he's just starting to scratch the surface this year. It was a career year for him.
It's a breakout year, for sure.
And so going forward, I could see him, potentially running that back and even doing more. But
you're saying he's going to command a higher dollar than the Oilers are willing to spend and invest into it?
That's my hunch.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Fortunately, Commissioner Lieutenant Eric did not put salary caps into the question.
Oh, no, it's always in the, I know a lot of people are, why just pick 1, pick 3? Well, we bring back the line then. I'm just saying, in terms of that line, who do you think out of the Janmark and the Brown and Henrique, and again, throwing in Fogle as well, but who is the most important and who would you like to see kind of bringing those skills back to this team for another run? The Janmark thing interests me as well. I just like the way he and again the penalty kill in the special teams and having the talents that he does in those areas. A couple shouts for Henrique as well, which I don't mind. You can pick 3, 4, do whatever you want. I was saying 1 to make it a little tough for crying out loud.
And just hearing what Connor Brown had to say yesterday and the last.
He's bought in.
Yeah, he's this was I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, this is the best year. The most fun I've ever had. I want to play here, and if you're a general manager, you want a player like that wants to play for the Edmonton Oilers.
Penner's Pancake says, to me, 13 and 28 are almost a package deal. If that wants to be your answer, then it's fine. If you want to package something up and go on that route. Zula says, Brown due to upside you could get on value. Yeah, and I don't think there's too many wrong answers. Of course, some of the names I may have mentioned earlier in this exercise, yes, we don't even really look at, but I think you can make a case for the handful of players that we mentioned, and you have as well at 780-218-9999. Male Duck is called a Drake, just saying, Library Pat. Haven't we had enough of old Drake here? Do we need to? I'd like to reform the terminology for a male duck and call it a Kendrick or something, hey?
Yeah, Lamar.
A Lamar. yeah, A minor. Something like that.
It's a nice Lamar you have over there.
A very nice Lamar, and accompanied by its hen, or whatever.
Yeah, accompanied by Rihanna.
Siggy says, I still think the cheap shots Zadorov gave McDavid didn't help. No, and again, surgeries will be required there for Connor and Leon, of course, a finger and a rib or whatever, but short off season, they're going to have to turn this thing around, and a wedding sandwiched in between too, which never really helps. Question number 2, boys, today is, where is it here? National Ice Cream Cake Day. it can be a partisan issue sometimes. People either hate it or love it. Where do you come to the terms on ice cream cake? In terms of ice cream, do you separate your cake and your ice cream? Do you refuse to have cake and ice cream on the same plate? Do you like to mix the two and just and get right down in it? Like, what are your thoughts? Ice cream cake as a whole, or do you not even want them in the same room together?
Unless you're like highly lactose, what kind of psycho does not like ice cream cake? That is the pinnacle of cakes.
Who hates ice cream? Yeah.
Usually I ask,
and you know what?
I can never get an explanation. I just don't like it.
I mean, obviously we're talking about one brand here, which is, the pinnacle of ice cream cakes. And yes, I do sometimes get a little, I say separation going on.
Fudge.
Yeah.
The
Give me
chocolate
that
fudge.
chocolate fudge. That's good. But a healthy dollop of all flavors combined is quite nice on the palate. But I must admit, if I actually find that ice cream cake is better after it's, seconds. When that frosting on the top layer around the outer rim really freezes up.
You get a day, it all melts in together.
Let that baby sit in the freezer and dolly.
You agree?
I couldn't agree more, man.
Give me
ice
one.
cream cake's like the best. Oh, that's what I look forward to most on my birthday is getting an ice cream cake. I always told the folks, this is what I want. This is all I want. And the fudge. I always would eat everything first and then save the fudge last.
Well, you'd save it last, eh?
Yeah, and the place we're talking about, obviously.
See, my daughters, and this is, I guess, I don't know. I couldn't fathom the idea of doing this, but my daughters will mix it and create a little bit of an ice cream soup.
This is what I'm saying for the hardcores out there. Like you're all.
I think you're
not picking it apart.
You're
just
keep it hard, keep it firm, and pick away at the layers you want. Maybe a little bit of chocolate mixed with some fudge and a slight little piece of vanilla. I mean, ooh. I guess I'm getting ice cream cake on the way home.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she worked at that place and would always. I'd ask him, like, can you just bring home some?
Just doesn't even need
just
to have
the
a
fudge.
design.
Just I want that fudge.
Yeah,
so she'd bring home like a patty of the chocolate fudge.
A patty of the fudge.
And I just eat that. Oh.
Well, maybe this should dovetail into question 3. Big Slam Nasty's in the Nasty chat. He says, here's a summer question. Are you mixing Slurpee flavors? Because I'm a Coke Slurpee, and I've been that way since I was a youngin'. I mean, speaking of mixing the flavors in an ice cream cake, I'm definitely layered up. And you know what one of those layers always is? It's got to be
cream soda.
Cream soda.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
You got to have cream soda in there.
No, that's the best.
I think cream soda we could say would be the pinnacle in the ice cream draft. That would be 1-1. I would say, or in Slurpee draft. I think that 1-1.
I don't like a good mix. I'll go in straight for the Coke and or Pepsi. I like to keep the colas, the dark generic cola. But yes, if I go up to the machine and it determines on the strength of them. If they just fire them up and it's all liquid and they're spinning around, I ain't touching it with a 10-foot thumb. But if I see those and they're nice and slow and you got the ice and it's all and they've been going for a long time and it's hot and I go in there and I see a nice Coke, I'm like, okay, but then the cream soda's chug along next to it. You boys hit it with the color scheme. It's the perfect. Well, you're mixing Coke and root beer. Like you don't even know when. You don't know when.
Yeah, you don't know
what's
what.
happening there.
You're lost.
But
at that point.
a nice dark Coca-Cola mixed with that pink explosion of the cream soda, and on a hot day, and you got the layered mix, and you're ooh and you and again, such a flavor switch as well between the two. I'm feeling you, boys. You can keep your lime crush or orange or. I've seen a buttered popcorn flavor. I have at One Max growing up.
Disgusting.
Never took that route. Never took that route. But it's got to be if it's not just Coke or Pepsi. I'm here for a cream soda mix on top, in the middle, wherever.
And Redbeard's in. He says Slurpee 75% cola, 25% orange or Sprite. I was just going to say Sprite is a nice mix. It adds that Neapolitan look to your Slurpee. But I must say, here is the move of all moves. And COVID killed this a bit because now you have to buy a large pack of gummies. But do you remember when they used to have the little gummy bins that you could use the little plastic forks and you could pull out a sour soother and this and that? So you'd put maybe 5 or 6, a couple sour soothers, a couple frogs, maybe some fuzzy peaches in the bottom of your Slurpee, and then put the Slurpee on top. By the time you would get to those beautiful candies, they're now nice and frozen, a little bit more chewy. That is a veteran move. Now, it's so hard to do it now because they've removed those little, tubs I think
you got to open up the fun bag.
You got to
and
go
dump
to
them all in there, that type of thing,
the fun cone, and it's a real.
It's a mess.
It's a real shame.
3 questions too many. Once again, brought to you by Park Mazda. We're going to have a sports update right now. We'll get right into hot takes. The judge is in. He's patiently waiting. We'll have his ruling on an in-season tournament between YTT, LTE, potholder on the line coming up next. Scalding Hot Takes brought to you by Claiborne Services. But first, a sports update from Jason Milne in for Dustin Nielson this morning here on The Nielson Show.
The NHL draft goes Friday from the Sphere in Vegas, where the San Jose Sharks are expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini with the first overall pick. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. The Riverhawks played host to the Bellingham Bells, where they were on the losing end, falling 8-4. Game 3 of the 3-game set goes tonight from Remax Field. Coverage starts at 7:05 right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as the iHeart and TuneIn Radio apps. The Jays kick off a 4-game set against the AL leading Yankees. First pitch from Toronto goes at 5:07. And Canadian Zach Edey is now a Memphis Grizzly, as he was taken 9th overall in the NBA draft. European player Zachary Risache was selected first overall by the Atlanta Hawks. In Copa America, Canada sits second in Group A on 3 points and needs a draw against Chile on Saturday to progress to the knockout round. UEFA, the Euro Cup, is now entering the round of 16 with the next fixture set for Saturday, as you will see Italy face Switzerland and the host team Germany squares off against Denmark. In the Football World Junior Championships, right here in Edmonton, in semifinal number 1, Japan defeated the mighty USA by a score of 41-20. And in the second semifinal, Canada comes out on top, defeating Austria 27-20. It will be Canada v. Japan for all the marbles. Game goes from Commonwealth Sunday at 5. And tonight, week 4 of the CFL season kicks off in BC, where the 0-3 Elks visit the 2-1 Lions. Join myself and Matty Iwanek for the Green and Gold Kickoff Show live from the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Coverage starts at 7 here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the iHeart and TuneIn Radio apps, and on YouTube. This sports update was brought to you by Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. BMPP is a real pizzeria restaurant, not just a delivery pizza chain, serving authentic Italian cuisine made with their made in-house pizza dough, traditional tomato sauce, and fresh toppings. Each pizza is cooked to perfection. A pizza experience that you've been waiting for. Visit them at 12848 97th Street. Order today, www.bmpp.cc, or call 587-746-0550.
Closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
TuneIn Radio apps And as always on YouTube as well, Lieutenant Eric, Jason Milne in, Dustin Nielsen on the call tonight. CFL on TSN. Elks looking to get into the win column. They're visiting the BC Lions tonight, 8 o'clock on TSN, but we'll get you going 7 o'clock, the Green and Gold kickoff show with Jay Milne and Maddie Iwanek live from the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. The Nielsen Show presented by Southfort Chevrolet. Check them out today, www.southfortchev. And we're coming to you live from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. They got the boneless wings, ghost pepper flavor right now. Bone in, bone out, they don't care. Check them out today. Lots of wing flavors, bone in, bone out. You're calling the shots. We are joined right now by Your Honor, Joaquin Gage, as we, hello, feeling good, doing good. Now, as we mentioned, too, to start the show, a lot of audio equipment was pilfered from the studio as Gazzola and Nielsen were live at Boston Pizza Argyle yesterday afternoon, and a lot of that wasn't returned, and we knew that. But some of the things we did not know wouldn't be returned, one of which would be a couple of chords, connecting a mic, connecting some music. So YouTube Trev has been killing it on the tunes today. He's been conching it. He's been running everything, the trivia ticker, the whole bit. So he's taking care of that. We just don't have a cord for a mic for the judge, which is, we apologize as we do, Your Honor, but I think we can make.
He'll
things
get
work.
my mic after the. He's
Teamwork
here to
makes
listen
the
right
thing
now.
work. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be great.
Coup.
Now Maddie's come to solve it. You're not going to get into this one, Maddie. Okay. Maddie's going to fix it. We're going to. The mic sock?
We're like all out. I don't know. We got a thief. Someone's taking it.
I don't know if you can fix. I know you can fix a lot of things, Matt, but I don't know if you're fixing this one.
I know Tommy likes a good mic sock.
Well, let's watch this. Let's.
Can we go to
That's
the
going
wide
over
shot
there.
here? YTT,
Yeah, Matt's
so,
gonna. I like this too.
So we can.
Apologies,
see
Matt.
exactly
We're trying to do we can't do it all at once, but you're here now and it's good. I'm really excited to see if he gets this going. Look at this. He's putting it right through that board instead of that board.
He's got it hooked up. Wow! Round of clicks.
The commish.
The coup.
My
the coup.
commish. My commish.
No, my coup.
He'll always be my commish.
Chief officer, operating officer.
Can we? Well done. Maddie Iwanek, saving the day.
We got.
How am I sounding?
People hear the judge? Can you hear the judge? Give us a snap if you can hear the judge. 780-218-9999.
And I don't do hot takes because I'm not here all the time. So
no, you're not in the
should I
in-season.
win?
No,
should I win? It's a real cluster. You know what?
We'll get you in sometime down the line here. But as it stands, the potholder on the line, Dusty away, YTT, VLTE, and it is Scalding Hot Takes, brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They are hiring all positions. Journeyman bricklayers, apprentices, any level. You can take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program today, working with peace of mind, knowing that they are an industry leader in safety. www.claiborneservices.com or phone Jeff 780-910-6728. Judge, doing okay. You're looking good. As I mentioned, summer dress now. Oilers season over. You're handling that as best as you can.
As best I can.
I don't think nothing's coming.
Nothing's
It's not coming. Maddie.
I feel good. Eric, thank you.
Doesn't work. We'll get the judge on here as well. We do have it is race week as well. You'll be on the show tomorrow with me. We'll take a bit of a deeper dive into the Formula One landscape. But the judge is here, and we'll get right into hot takes. I guess right now, once again, brought to you by Claiborne Services. Again, no Pinter. You'll be doing the Pinter.
I'm Pinter. Yeah, I'm Pinter.
Jay is Rick Pinter. Joaquin Gage is the judge. It'll be me, PYTT. This thing is going off the rails, and I love it. You are the pot holder. So you go first. I'll go with the hammer. Is that kind of how we should do it here? I think.
Sounds good.
So I guess hand it over to the judge.
Begin.
Ooh, time now for Scalding Hot Takes. I'd like to thank Sam Gagne, Troy Stetcher, and Darnell Nurse for their playoff contributions.
Careful. That takes hot.
Lance Stroll re-upped with Aston Martin. In other news, I also re-upped with my family.
Wow. That's a hot take.
If Ryan McLeod was an Edmonton landmark, he'd be a statue because he always gets shit on.
Suffering succotash. That's a hot take.
If Dusty was here more during the show during the Oilers playoff run, the Oilers would have won the cup.
Somebody's got a hot one.
Bill Zito was more noticeable than Matthew Tkachuk in this final.
Wow, that's a hot take.
Pugs are ugly dogs.
Careful. That takes hot.
Edmonton Riverhawks, more like Edmonton River Hawk 2s.
Suffering succotash. That's a hot take.
Pass.
Somebody's got a hot one.
Evan Bouchard tapped not because he was being choked, it's because he was being goosed.
Careful, that's a hot take.
Pass. I am.
Wow, that's a hot take.
What happens now? What?
I'm done.
I think,
What?
I'm totally done.
I think LT, you
I'm
got
done.
here.
A runaway. It was a runaway. We've never seen a performance like that. To completely stun
The Hawk Tui.
Eric, the Hawk Tui.
I've never been stunned. I've never passed before. This is the once in a lifetime.
I was wondering if we'd see that today. Well done.
Mercy.
Trev.
Are you serious?
Keep it.
God,
Keep
it's hot.
You got
Gager.
it.
Go. Wow. You're a beauty, Gager.
Holy smokes.
Thank you, Gager.
Look,
Wow. That was so nice of Gager.
I'm
not used to that.
I've stolen takes. I've done everything to get wins in the past, but I'm
What's
just
going
completely
on?
floored. No, I had some Formula One takes and everything. You did the Hawk Tui thing.
You have a destruction I wrote down.
From Stroll? The destruction, that's the grade that he gave you. Usually he gives number grades and everything. I don't know. He had me at the Hawk Tui. That thing's been going around and it's been making the rounds. It's been the meme that we've all been seeing and coinciding with the Oilers Cup run. The takes again, please. If
Yes,
we could.
yeah. Can we have a replay? Just a quick rebrief.
Like all of them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
It was straight
Okay.
fire, as Coach Mike says. Straight fire.
You're getting
two, Trev.
accolades all left, right, and
I
center.
cussed on the one, so I won't swear again. Sorry about that. I'd like to thank Sam Gagne, Troy Stetcher, and Darnell Nurse for their playoff contributions. If Ryan McLeod, the last time we were on, we were talking about landmarks. Or no, I guess it was you were with Dusty, but your weekly rankings, you just came up with them.
Yeah,
and it was just
naming
insane.
streets and stuff.
I was
yeah.
drawing a blank, so I was like, maybe I can go back on that. So I said if Ryan McLeod was an Edmonton landmark, he'd be a statue because he always gets crapped on. Bill Zito was more noticeable than Matthew Tkachuk in this final. Edmonton Riverhawks, more like Edmonton Riverhawk.
Here's the heart of the lineup here. This is where I...
Yeah, and then Evan Bouchard tapped, not because he was being choked, it's because he was being goosed. Shout out, Glue Guy.
I mean,
the art of this,
Yes.
I'm getting emotional now
Yes.
watching him. He came in today, and if a lot of you don't know yet, he came in with 4 takes, which is great. And I always like to have the idea of, you leave a little bit of wiggle room because something will pop up on the show that's right in the brains of all of us, recency bias. And that last take one more time, please.
The Evan Bouchard one?
Yes.
Evan Bouchard tapped, not because he was being choked, it's because he was being goosed, which was a lot of fun.
Again, like the whole you educating him on the goosing earlier today, we had a little fun with that. you coming in with that 5th take right over the top rope. This is stuff of legend that Dustin Nielson only dreams he was here to see. JL, YTT was Hogan, LTE was Kevin Nash. A complete choke job, LT. No, you can call me Evan Bouchard for crying out loud. LT throws it away. Didn't throw it away. I didn't throw it away, but I recognize greatness when I'm in the presence of it. YTT easily won, no question. No, this is, in terms of landslide victories and consensus voting, and maybe it was, to me, it was the Hawk Tui.
That took it to the next
the
level,
goosing is
and then
great,
the goosing just tied it all back in. I mean, it was to sit here and watch and have to pretend to be Rick Binter was quite hard.
It's tough to
and
stay
to
in
watch
character for
Gager
you.
totally. I was kind of like I was kind of excited to get the behind the scenes look at how he scores this, but there was no scoring.
It was destruction.
There was just a check mark.
Destruction.
This
It was
means a lot.
destruction.
It means a lot because I think I've had some of the worst takes in, I guess EST
Whatever you
history.
did today,
get a
and
rough
whatever
patch, eh?
whatever frame of mind you were to put that collection together, I would
a
suggest
lot.
trying to reharness that every Thursday so you
try.
can. I mean, it was incredible.
It's just for the nasties.
Spit on that thing.
We did it, nasties.
Yeah?
Let's go.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I'm stunned. Just stunned. The Hawk Tui.
That I did not see that coming. Like,
And
just
good on
brilliant.
incorporating the river.
You know
It's
what's
not even
funny?
an Oilers take.
I was
That's
following
what
it-
I love even more.
That was the last one I came up with last night, but I was falling asleep, and then I woke up, and that's what I came up. Like I woke up and I wrote it down immediately. That's
And
where
that's
that
good.
that's where that came from.
You should always
That
have
was
the
weird.
notepad, and
I was thinking of
the
it.
takes are coming at you. Eric was like the little kids before the Canucks game, just waving the white flag. Yeah, and that's what you can call me Canucks fans. Hey, the grads
the
in the
grads
house.
in the house.
Grads in the house. It's a couple inches taller today. Hey.
Yeah.
Didn't bring his mortarboard or whatever they call it. You throw that in the air.
Hat.
You got to put the thing on the other side when you
Right.
Isn't that the
Right.
Zacticum graduating from Nate yesterday? I'm sure we'll have more on that as the day trucks on here at Edmonton Sports.
Come here. Come on in
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
Jack.
yeah, yeah.
We got a chair here still. Come on in. Come on in. You can take my mic. We just want to talk to you about this graduation that happened yesterday, and I mean the pictures you sent were just phenomenal. Right here. Come close. Come close.
Brad in the house.
Recent new grad. In the nasty chat, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, do it for Zach. Round of clicks for Zach. Big grad. Graduated with honors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you know, it's really hard to graduate with honors in radio and television. So,
And look where you are. You're on both.
wow. Mom, I made it. No. Well, it's weird. I've been working for already so many months, and it's like, oh, yeah. Graduated.
You had to come back and see all of your fellow classmates still looking for
it
jobs.
was great.
I'm sure.
Yeah, some people came out from BC and stuff wherever they were. Haven't seen them in a while. And the semester before me, I guess the winter semester, they're not going to have a graduation in the middle of the year, so pushes it back. Convocation. There was bagpipes and stuff. I kind of felt like I was graduating from Hogwarts at one time. It was really interesting. It was a very good showing from Nate. I got to say, they didn't pay for our parking, though. Only paid like 12 grand.
This is what you're... He's got beef. He's got beef.
I've got beef. But no, it was a really good time, and got a juice box after, too. So,
Mom, I made it, and I got a juice box.
You're getting congratulated, as you should, in the nasty chat, which I assume as well in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Smash that thumbs up for old Zacticum here, graduating with honors as well. What was the day I tell you said lunch with family, that type of thing? I mean, was it a full 6 o'clock to kind of 9 o'clock at night, or did you kind of, once the grad was over, you just bid everybody goodbye and went about and lived your life? Or was this a full day's event, plans, parties, that type of thing?
yeah, well, we tried to plan a full event, but it was kind of last minute. So some people were like, I don't know. And then went for lunch, and my buddy picked me up really close to my house and graduated same class. So we went down to White Ave, hung out at Julio's, and then we had a reservation there for later for a bunch of us to go down there. So we walked around a bit and then circled back around, and I got pasta at a Mexican restaurant. Good pasta, though, at Julio's there. Yeah. And I had a couple Guinnesses, too.
On the, on the hot patio.
Yeah, so it was a full day. It was a full day.
Well, we love you for that, man, and congratulations again, once again, listeners, viewers as well. Box Pounder says, now you're a pro, Zach, as that's a good tie in there. Kudos to Zacticum, the plaudits roll, and congratulations, man. That's just a...
Thank you.
We know what that stage is like down there, and Nate and doing all that, but you got to keep the hat, the gown, or all that, you got to return that type of thing?
The gown, I don't think I'm ever going to wear again unless I'm dressed as a pastor or something for Halloween. But the cap I'll keep, and congrats to myself, I guess. This is my speech.
And the class
I'd like to
of
thank
24.
myself. I'd like to thank... no, I'm kidding. But no, all thanks to Nate. Nate's a great program.
Go off. Who else would you like to thank? Seriously.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Patrick. What?
Picolenza.
YTT's pointing at himself. I'm not thanking you. No, I'm kidding. Just everyone in my class, all the teachers and stuff, great staff. But no, YTT, you're my teacher here too.
Thank you.
One of the T's stand for
I knew
teacher.
you could do it.
Yeah, YouTube teacher. Yeah, yeah, that's what you said. I knew you could do it. But thank you, Nasties, for all the support and stuff. You guys are great. I'm seeing all the messages in here. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Well job, Zach. Well, let's clap him out here. Prozac. He's off the practicum. He's graduated. He's getting paid. You're getting paid? You got your checks are cashing? Zacticum, ladies and gentlemen, we congratulate him on that. A fun day.
And a double whammy. We found Waldo at the same time.
Give him the potholder. We'll get into the wrap here for William Huff as we inch closer to the hangout today. 9 to 11 with Matty Iwanek. I do believe that we will have Paul Sur in a bit as well to recap some of the NBA draft from last night. But your next chance as well to get in on the $100,000 swing to win. We qualified or got our lucky contestant again this morning. But your next chance to get in tomorrow and perhaps get a call. Ironically, we'll have your keyword coming up between 9 and 11 on the Hangout. You also got next chance lock shop today as well, and 2 guys and a goalie to come. But the wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team WilliamHuff.com. In business since 72, so you know they're incredible at what they do. WilliamHuff.com. Gentlemen, what did we learn on the show today? If anything, sometimes it's entertaining and not so informative, but what did we learn throughout the morning today?
Well, I learned that YTT's got some hot stuff. He's
Good
got some
God,
curveballs
man.
in that arm of his, so congrats to him. That was well deserved. I also learned that the Paris Olympics are going to be introducing AI.
This is just crap.
With
I don't
Al
like this at all.
Michaels.
Why do you even need Al Michaels?
I mean, he's not dead, is he?
No, but
So
like,
what's the
I don't
point of
know.
doing AI? Can you not just? I mean, geez, we live in the world of streaming. Can you not stream him from his couch and wherever he lives and do this without having to bring in? I think it's like a, hey, look how cool we are.
Oh, yeah, totally what it is.
NBC
Look at the technology we have.
and the cock, the peacock that is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're doing the AI thing. I don't know. It seems completely unnecessary.
I don't need it.
Considering
I don't love
it's
it.
still alive.
Don't want it. As Gazdic pointed up as well earlier in his hit with us at around 7:05, there was some of those player avails that people AI'd. They're a little funny, I get it, but a little troubling as well, especially in the broadcasting world. But no, AI can go to hell. Trev, learning anything today or? I mean, you learned that you're a back-to-back champ. This is back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back?
No, I guess this is just it's consecutive weeks, so back to back. But then I guess I have defended it 3 times now. So,
but you're going for the 3-peat. Then it'll be maybe next week if Dusty's away on Hot Takes.
yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
It seems to be when Dusty's on, I just have a hard time. But here's hoping I can just.
It's always tough to beat your daddy.
You want the mitt.
Yeah, that's what I want.
You want the mitt.
This is nice, but I haven't had that thing since January, so like that's brutal. But yeah, I'm getting better. Just keep on doing what I'm doing. Did I learn anything? I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of put on the spot. I didn't. I probably did, but I'm.
Well, I think you learned that you can handle all of the audio capabilities that this show throws at you with a plum.
Yeah.
I mean,
with
look,
ease.
You want to talk about snapping and clapping here? Great
Thanks.
job this morning as we came in and. Remember when Matty tried to fix the microphone and he thought he had it and then he didn't?
Talk about coming in like.
Well, I'm just
"Look at
saying,
me,
we're not
I'm
really
gonna
making a
fix
big
the
deal of
mic,"
that.
and
You'll
then,
be peacocking it all over the place.
Look
If
at
not,
you
got it.
idiots.
I don't know what.
This mic's sitting right here.
It should have worked, so I'm kind of confused why it's not, but it is funny.
I think it's his fault.
It's probably his fault, yes. Text of the day for A&W. I know we circled one. We had him in a bit of the...
Yes.
I think he went pillar to post too, hey? I mean, I don't know if anything else
There was a
came
challenger.
in.
There was a challenger, but no, this one is the one for sure.
I learned what goosing is. Oh my gosh. There it is.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, okay. I gotta find it again because
Oop.
I think.
Who's it? Was it an unnamed? Was it an
No,
anonymous text?
it was Big Slam Nasty.
Yeah,
but I
please,
can't
Big
find
Slam
it now.
Nasty, eh? In the
The ball size.
NFL balls are yours and the CFL
Yes.
balls are the guy she told you not to worry about. That's the one.
Well done.
Handing it off, Big Slam Nasty. You're off to A&W. $20 richer. Get those $9.99 Mama Burger deal right now. 2 A&W Mama Burgers for $9.99. So Big Slam Nasty will be getting in touch. You can swing down here and collect your A&W GC as well. Boys, what are we tuning into tonight or today or whatever?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go sit in the corner and cry because I guess Mike outside of Edmonton doesn't like me. He says, "Why do we need a glue guy when we could have AI Dusty?" I think that would be interesting. AI Dusty.
Yeah, take it for a pilot project sometime during the summer, but I'd much rather have a living, breathing human being in the studio with me than a computer program that probably doesn't understand what I'm saying half the time.
I am watching the Elks.
Yes.
And I'm watching the Elks get their first win of the season tonight against the Lions.
You're calling it.
I hope so. But, I hope so that they can, finally, they've deserved to win games. They have. They've been in games. They've been deserving of at least 1 or 2 wins.
Entertaining ball.
Now, and these are now every team that they've played against is undefeated still. Think of that. They're not playing slouch teams. They're playing some of the best in the CFL, including the BC Lions, who some would say are the Western Conference, best hope to make it out and be in the Grey Cup. So if the Elks can come out and play a game and put it all together, which, I have my doubts because they haven't done it yet, but if they can, they'll win. But like I said,
great point, though. All their losses to the 3 undefeated teams in the league right now, so there's maybe something to say there. Of course, you can join Jason Milne and Matt Iwanek. They'll be live Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge this evening. Great game day specials there, both food and drink, but you can slide on up. You guys will be hitting there at 7 here on EST. Of course, the iHeart TuneIn radio apps and on YouTube, and be back after tonight's game, breaking down things on the post-game show. Should be a good one. This is a great Western tilt to kick off Week 4. Battle the undefeateds for Friday Night Football, and we go on through the Canada Day weekend there as well. No Euros for today, which is kind of weird for me. I love the games when there's just games and matches throughout the morning and afternoon, but a little brief as the tournament breaks for the knockout stage. Riverhawks as well tonight. I do believe they'll be trying to get that game going. Weather not so suggestive, but we'll keep an eye on the skies. Riverhawks and Bellingham Bells, the rubber match of that 3-game set later tonight down at Remax Field. Other than that, we'll be keeping our eyes, and I know we didn't get to this too much, and we will as this off-season continues, but Mikheyev, Canucks sending him out, clearing up some space. The big rumor now is Gensel, Canucks shedding salary. Gensel, you're connecting dots, but this is the silly season and the fun season, the insider season, if you will. So maybe something happens later today that we'll sink our teeth in for tomorrow, but we'll continue to watch the online realm in terms of player movement, buyouts, things such as that. But Oilers management as well, queued up at the podium later today, so we'll be recapping that as well tomorrow. Joaquin Gage will be in. Dustin Nielson, of course, has the call tonight. Elks Lions on TSN. Want to thank everybody this morning. Starting off in the opening hour, Marshall Ferguson taking some time. He's selling a house today. Well, he's trying to. He's showing a house, which is what he was doing later this morning. So I hope that's all going well for him. He'll have the call, Argos and Alouettes, tomorrow. He swung by at around 8:30 to recap. To preview Week 4 in the CFL, recapping the action thus far, and a touch on the Austrian Grand Prix. Luke Gazdic, you know him, you love him. He was by his second last appearance on the show this season, eulogizing the Oilers season as it was. We always appreciate his time. We did have a Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day from Jay Milne. You can view that up at Cool Bet. That hurts. I got beef. Corey the Butcher, SB-LLP Injury Law Firm. And as well, congratulations again, YTT with an all-time Hall of Fame performance in Scalding Hot Takes, albeit the in-season tournament. But he comes away again back-to-back champion of the pot holder. So we congratulate him on that, and we thank as well Joaquin Gage, the judge, for his time. It is 9 o'clock. We will break. If you are watching on YouTube, keep it locked. The autoplay should send you right over there. The boys are in the room. They're ready to go. Gazzola, Iwanek, and gang today. So thank you very much, Jay Milne, again, for your time. I know you got a lot of stuff going on at the farm. Keep it locked. Hashtag the EST Farm Report. He's got foxes, the ducks, the whole bit. Spraying.
We're filling a pool today, baby.
Filling a pool. You might be even blowing a bugle, hey, in between goose things.
I'll do an elk call while we're filling the pool, and I'll
probably have
post
updates on the pregame show, the kickoff, the Green and Gold kickoff show tonight.
Can't wait.
What happens during the afternoon.
Can't wait.
For Jay Milne and YouTube Trev, locking it down beyond the monitors, Lieutenant Eric. Thank you so much for listening. Keep it locked. Hangouts coming up next here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.